Chapter 606. Love and Hate Report to the Heavenly Court. The great sage was the victorious fighting Buddha of the Heavenly Court, so it was right for him to seek help from the Heavenly Court. But his younger brother, Yuan Hong, didn't seem to have any relations with the Heavenly Court. What's more, this was the Endless Beast region's Fox Yaos. The Heavenly Court and the Beast region. There was no need to say more. Fight as soon as they meet. He was sure that he had to report it to the Heavenly Court. Yi Zichen was a bit hesitant. At that moment, the white-shirt man looked up and spoke. Find a Grand Supreme Elderly Lord of the Heavenly Court and Hua Ta of the Underworld. With that, the white-clothed man walked to Su Luer's side, glanced at her indifferently, then snatched Yuan Hong from her arms. What are you doing? Save him. Su Luer returned to her senses and hurriedly handed Yuan Hong over to him. At the same time, she begged, I beg you, you have to save him. Yes. A faint golden light surrounded the white-shirt man and the two injured people, while Yi Zichen immediately found Old Lord Taishang. Old Lord. In order for Old Lord Taishang to receive the message as soon as possible, Yi Zichen sent several tens of messages, then directly made a video call. I'm very busy right now. If there's nothing else, let's talk when I'm free. With that, Old Lord Taishang prepared to turn off the video. Even now, he still thought that Yi Zichen wanted his pill refinement manual. That was his life. He didn't want to give it up. Yi Zichen naturally understood what the Old Lord was thinking. I don't want the secret manual. I beg you to save me. Save someone? Ordinary mortals can find you as a doctor. Why would they want to find an old man like me? Old Lord Taishang raised his eyebrows. What's more, I'm proficient in the art of alchemy. The pills that I refine aren't something that mortals can consume. Save the great sage. Monkey? Old Lord Taishang was stunned. What happened to him? Is he going to die? That's great news. I've always found that damned monkey an eyesore. Oh, then go ahead and gloat. There's no need for you. Yi Zichen closed the video call indifferently, then went to find Hua Ta in the underworld. In terms of medical ethics, Hua Ta was definitely the best. He only briefly explained the situation here, and the other party agreed without thinking, saying that they would arrive as soon as possible. After chatting with Hua Ta, Yi Zichen saw that Old Lord Taishang had sent him a bunch of messages. Is the monkey really going to die? That's impossible. He's a fiery golden eyes monkey. His life is tough. How could he die? Hey, I say, did something really happen to him? Hurry up and tell me the location. I'll go there immediately. The reason why Old Lord Taishang said those words in the video was mostly because he didn't believe it. He knew very well how strong the great sage was. He had been refining him in the furnace for so long, but nothing had happened to him. He had even refined the eyes of fire and gold. He didn't believe that great sage son would be in danger. However, when he saw the indifference in Yi Zichen's eyes as he closed the video call, his heart raced. That was why he said those words just now. The central continent outside the immortal region, the back mountains of the Endless Beast region's Fox Yaos. Yi Zichen ignored Old Lord after sending the message. He sat on the ground and stared at the white-shirt man who was extending the lives of the great sage and Yuan Hong. He should be the system. Yi Zichen couldn't help but mutter inwardly, but his opponent's actions left him puzzled. He called Su Luer Big Sister Luer. He knew everything that he was about to experience, as if he had experienced it himself. Yi Zichen couldn't see his face, since it was covered in mosaics. Just who is he? Yi Zichen muttered to himself. At that moment, a ripple appeared at the spatial gate. Everyone in the back mountains looked towards the gate cautiously. Just now, we caused a huge ruckus in the demon realm. Could the enemy have taken advantage of the fact that we've lost some high-level combatants? We meet again. The people who walked out of the spatial gate were Gu Li and the black-robed Su Yun, while Su Yin and Lu Lu stood beside them. Lil sis. Su Luer's dim eyes lit up. However, when she saw Gu Li, she couldn't help but call out coldly, "What do you want?" As she said that, she subconsciously used spiritual energy to protect the white-shirt man and the others. She knew very well that they couldn't afford to be disturbed in a situation like that. The Lord of the Fox Yaos truly has an extraordinary aura. But don't fight me, I didn't come to fight you this time. With that, Guli pushed Su Yin and Lu Lu forward. That senior told us to bring them back. However, don't think too much about it. We're not trying to make peace with you. Zichen. Su Yin and Lu Lu both ran towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen protected them behind him in shock, then squinted his eyes and smiled coldly. Even if you want to ask for peace, it's impossible. Guli snorted. Who cares what you say? I've already sent them back. That's that. Why didn't you send Xiao Yumei back? Yi Zichen questioned. You have to ask your good bro. Guli indicated towards Sui Yun. Who knows what secret technique he used to actually avoid that senior's detection. Now that I think about it, Xiao Yumei is his new favorite, so it's reasonable that he doesn't want to give her up. Sui Yun. Yi Zichen looked towards Sui Yun with a dark expression. Sui Yun's slash was something that Yi Zichen would always remember. Go back. At the same time, Yi Zichen also clenched his fist and cursed. Don't you know what's going on? At the same time, Yi Zichen also clenched his fist and cursed. If you dare to touch a single hair on Xiao Yumei, then I will definitely fight you to the death. Su Yun replied indifferently, then walked back into the portal. Guli looked at him and Yi Zichen meaningfully, then shook his head with a smile. Let's go. When Yi Zichen stepped into the portal, the gate in the back mountain of the fox, Yao's, also gradually disappeared. Yet, do you want to die? The moment Guli entered, Su Yun suddenly reached out and grabbed his neck. Don't touch my bottom line again. Guli, it's as easy as flipping my hand to kill you. Kill me? Stop joking. You've set up such a big trap. Do you want to kill me, just to fail? Guli pushed his hand away with a smile. You've been waiting for revenge for so long, so you must have planned something shocking. However, that senior isn't a black dragon. Do you think you can still play around? Mind your own business. Su Yun looked at him darkly. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Same here. However, it was really interesting. One was kept in the dark while the other kept it in his heart. If this was made into a TV series, the ratings would definitely be off the charts. Love and hate. TSK, TSK, TSK. Guli smiled calmly, then curled his lips. Hey, can you tell me what you're planning? To put it bluntly, our hearts aren't in the demon realm, so it's fine to tell me. Chapter 607. The Same Smell. After Guli and Su Yun left, Su Lu walked over and looked them up and down. Little sister, did they do anything to you? No. Su Yun shook her head and choked with tears in her eyes. Sis, I was wrong. What wrong? It's good that you're fine. Su Lu pulled Su Yun into her arms. Lu Lu watched on the side for a while, then hooked her arm around Yi Zichen's shoulder. When will you marry me? Wait a moment. When did I say that I'm going to marry you? Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned, then moved her hand away. Don't spout nonsense. What's wrong? You don't want to marry me? Lu Lu frowned. Right at this moment, the white-clothed man in the golden light suddenly shouted. Quiet. The people around them, especially Lu Lu, stuck out her tongue and didn't say anything. Then, she took a closer look and raised her eyebrows. How did you get injured like this? Don't worry about it. Yi Zichen said plainly. The sound of something flying through the air sounded out. When he looked up, he saw old Lord Taishang hurrying over with 2 children. What's going on? Yi Zichen revealed a look of joy when he saw old Lord Taishang, then grabbed him and walked towards the white shirt man. As he got closer, old Lord Taishang saw the great sage and Yuan Hong lying on the ground. He's actually injured so badly that his spiritual essence can no longer repair itself. What is Origin's spiritual power? Asked Yi Zichen. Experts who have reached the celestial immortal realm will be able to sense the essence. Celestial immortals are also known as the undying body. No matter how serious the injuries are, as long as they are given enough time, they will be able to recover. Old Lord Taishang frowned. However, their origin has already lost its effect. Even if I start refining pills now, I can only keep them alive. Don't worry, old lord. Hua Tuo will be here soon. At this moment, the white-robed man walked out of the golden light barrier. Old Lord Taishang looked at him and twitched his nose in confusion, then looked back at Yi Zichen. At the same time, Lu Lu did the same. The smell was very familiar. Little brother, we're here. At the same time, Oxhead and Horseface rushed over with Hua Ta. Without further ado, Hua Tua immediately walked into the golden light shield and placed his palms on the two of them. Elder Hua, how is it? The man in white asked anxiously. Hua Ta narrowed his eyes and said, he can be saved. When the surrounding people heard this answer, their expressions all lit up. But right at this moment, Hua Tua asked curiously, who injured these two? People from the demon world. Hua Tua nodded in understanding. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking at the moment from his old face. I need to be quiet while I'm performing the acupuncture, so please leave. Also, I'll have to trouble you to refine 2 9 revolutions life replenishing pills and 3 Yang Guan pills for them to consume after my acupuncture treatment. You old thing, you actually dare to order me around. Old Lord Taishang rolled his eyes and said unwillingly, fine, I will make these 2 pills as soon as possible. Thank you. Hua Tua nodded indifferently and walked into the light shield. Since this old man had already said that the group of people couldn't afford to be snubbed, so they all left through the back mountain. You guys also give me a quiet room, old Lord Taishang said. As they left the back mountain, old Lord Taishang also spoke up. Suju smiled as she led them away. Oxhead spoke up at this moment. I never thought that the great sage would actually go to the demon world. The people of the demon world are actually this strong. Big brother Oxhead is right, Horseface agreed. It's not that the people of the demon world are too strong. It's mainly, never mind, there's no point in telling you guys too much. Let's just wait for news of the great sage and the other's recovery, the man in white said indifferently. The white-clothed man spoke indifferently, then turned his gaze towards Fatty Een. Fatty Een subconsciously shrunk his neck when he noticed the man's gaze. He was indeed the main reason why the great sage and Yuan Hong had ended up like this. If he hadn't blindly agreed to Su Lu Er's request, they wouldn't have been able to go to the demon world. Ew. The man in white shook his head and didn't say anything else. He walked to the side and looked into the distance. Who is that person? Oxhead pouted at the black-robed man. Lulu also said, that guy's smell is very similar to yours. It smells like me? Yi Zichen was shocked. When she was still in the modern world, Lulu once told her that everyone's scent was unique. She was able to find her because of his scent. She actually said that the man in white smelled like her. Well, it's more like they're identical than similar. But if it's not the same person, the smell can't be the same. Maybe it's because I've been poisoned recently and my nose isn't working well. Lulu pursed her lips and shrugged. Suyin muttered to herself for a while before also speaking. Actually, I've always wanted to say that the feeling this white-clothed man gives me is very similar to yours. This, Yi Zichen paused for a moment, then shook his head and chuckled. All right, don't worry about that guy. All of you should have a good rest. You should be tired after such a long time in the demon realm. Big brother Oxhead and big brother Horseface. They must be very tired from escorting Elder Hua here. What about you? Su Yin asked. Of course I'm going to rest as well. I'll get Su Zhujie to arrange a room for me later. Then I'll go rest for a while. The night was dim. The bonfires of the Fox Yaos were lit. Perhaps because they were truly tired, Su Yin and company did not come out after returning to their respective rooms. Yi Zichen held a bottle of Wuyang Ye and walked towards the lone figure at the top of the mountain near the back of the mountain range. Have a sip. Yi Zichen handed the bottle of Wuyang Ye over. The white-clothed man blanked out for a moment, then took the bottle and poured the entire contents into his mouth. I really haven't drunk it in a long time. What? You've drunk it before? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The white-clothed man was momentarily stunned, but did not reply. You should be the system that always chats with me, right? Yi Zichen laid down. Uh-huh. The white-clothed man smiled. What? Do you want to punch me a few times? I seem to recall you saying that you want to punch me many times. Never mind, I can't beat you. Yi Zichen shrugged. Yi Zichen shrugged, then raised his eyebrows. Do you think I wouldn't hit you if your strength was similar to mine? Ah. The white-clothed man shook his head with a smile, then looked towards the golden barrier once again. Hua Tuo had already performed acupuncture for several hours. The fact that a medical saint like him had not come out after so long was enough to show just how serious Yuan Hong and the great sage's injuries were. Yi Zichen examined the white-clothed man, then asked the question that had been bothering him. Chapter 608. Should I understand? A cool breeze caressed his face. The grass in the back mountain swayed in the wind. Yi Zichen looked at the white-shirt man beside him with bright eyes. The white-shirt man picked up a strand of grass and placed it in his palm, then turned around. Why are you suddenly asking me who I am? Her tone was completely calm. Yi Zichen let out a sigh and thought back to what they'd said. You're just very curious. It's as if you've experienced everything I've experienced. You should know how strong I am, a sky supreme. They transcended beyond the three realms and were far above immortal kings. You're merely at the great circle of the human immortal stage. Isn't it a piece of cake for me to know what you've been through? The white-shirt man replied in the same indifferent tone. Yi Zichen frowned. But Lulu said that your smell, whoosh. Before he finished speaking, the white-robed man suddenly rushed towards the light barrier. Yi Zichen paused for a moment, then thought of the possibilities and hurried over. The great sage and Yuan Hong were still lying within the barrier, but Hua Tuo had already walked out. Fortunately, I didn't fail you. Hua Tuo smiled towards Yi Zichen, then glanced towards Yuan Hong and the great sage. He noticed that the holes in their chests had already been filled by Hua Tuo. Their faces had also gradually turned red, and Yi Zichen could faintly feel their breathing. That's great. The white-robed man heaved a long sigh of relief. Hua Tuo also spoke up at this moment. As for when they can wake up, it will depend on the Grand Supreme Elder's pills. I've done everything I can. Elder Hua, you've worked hard. Your room has been arranged for you. This way, please. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, then made a pleased gesture. Hua Tuo also nodded with a smile, then followed behind him. The white-robed man remained outside the barrier. He looked at the great sage and Yuan Hong, who were already breathing. He seemed to be laughing and crying at the same time. It's great that you're all right. It's really, really great. Are you sure you don't want to tell you, Brat? Why do I feel like this is the best time? Fatty Een appeared out of nowhere with a plate of washed grapes in his hands. Ha! The white-clothed man's smile turned cold. He turned around to look at Fatty Een, then raised his hand and grabbed him by the neck. You still dare to come see me alone? You can't even complete the small task I gave you, so what else can you do? I really want to strangle you to death right now. Seeing that the grapes in Fatty Een's plate were about to fall to the ground, Fatty Een hurriedly circulated his spiritual energy and suspended them in midair. Don't. Suju washed these grapes for me. An hour passed. The white-clothed man and Fatty Een sat outside the barrier of light. Between them was the plate of grapes that Fatty had saved with his life. Xiaozhu washed it for you. He raised his hand and threw one into his mouth. A proud smile immediately appeared on Fatty's face. Of course. You might not know this, but our relationship has taken a qualitative leap. Tell me about it. The white-clothed man's heart burned with the flames of gossip. Fatty Een smiled faintly. Suju said that I'm actually pretty good, but I'm too fat. I haven't told her that I exchanged points for this body. I've already thought about it. After I'm done with your matters, I'll have my main body come over. I'll definitely be able to conquer him. With that loser body of yours? The white-clothed man shook his head. To be honest, your body isn't even as good as this fatty's. Then how do we get together? Could it be this fatty? Fatty Een raised his eyebrows. With your main body. The white-clothed man smiled and shook his head. But the main reason you two got together was because of that great battle. Women like heroes, and your actions back then could be considered heroic. It's normal for her to admire you. Is that so? Ha! Then how much longer until the great battle? When the time comes, I'll have my main body come over and show off my masculinity. Fatty Een rubbed his hands excitedly. There won't be any more. Spiritual energy surged around the white-clothed man as he stared straight ahead. I came back to stop all of this. As long as I'm here, I won't let that kind of massacre happen again. Although changing history sounds rather laughable, I still have to try. For example, the great sage. Didn't I succeed? Fatty Een was stunned for a moment, then patted the white-clothed man's shoulder in confusion. He was probably the person who understood the white-clothed man the most in the world. He knew very well what sort of determination the white-clothed man had when he returned to the three realms. But I have to remind you, Fatty Een looked at the white-clothed man. Fatty Een looked at the white-shirt man. Yi Zichen has already started to suspect your identity. You won't be able to hide it for long. He already came to find me. The white-clothed man shrugged with a smile. Actually, that's normal. Any disguise is useless in front of Lulu. I can disguise everything, but I can't change my scent. Then you're going to keep hiding it? Fatty Een raised his eyebrows. That's not really hiding it. What am I supposed to say in this sort of situation? This can't be considered hiding. What should I say in this situation? The white-shirt man glanced at the fatty. The day I truly meet Yi Zichen is the day I leave this place. Right now, he's still too young. He can't control the future, so I have to stay and help him control the overall situation. You really know how to think for yourself. Fatty Een curled his lips into a smile. Then why don't you just capture him and imbue him with wisdom? I don't believe that anyone in the entire three realms can match up to him with the strength of the Sky Supreme. Even in the upper three realms, a heavenly supreme is an existence that no one dares to approach. Don't talk rubbish like that, okay? The white-robed man rolled his eyes and said, You know very well that I can't give him enlightenment. Besides, who said that no one in the three realms was a match for a Sky Supreme? The Devil World also has a Sky Supreme, old monster. How is this possible? Fatty Een abruptly stood up from the ground. You're saying that there are actually two Sky Supremes in the entire three realms? Maybe it's because of me. The white-robed man shrugged with a smile. After all, the great sage and Yuan Hong were only heavily injured and died, but the old monster didn't appear. My appearance this time might have broken some sort of balance, which is why the old monster appeared. This is getting more and more troublesome. Fatty Yin's expression darkened. Then he summoned the 8-formation origin chart. I feel like I've boarded your pirate ship. I don't want this crappy thing anymore. Can I give it back to you? Are you sure? The man in white smiled faintly. Back then, you used it to slaughter everyone. You used the 8-formation of the Qian Yuan 8-formation diagram to trap over 100,000 elites of the demon world. That's why Su Zhu saw you in a new light. Then pretend I didn't say anything. With that, the fatty put away the 8-formation origin chart. At that moment, the white-robed man raised his hand and waved it in front of him. Do you understand now? The white-robed man muttered to himself. At the same time, Yi Zichen, who was using the great Tao of Heaven's Birth secret technique to observe them, also lowered his hand in a daze. Chapter 609. The great sages ate trigrams on the 7th hour after Hua Tao walked out of the golden barrier. The sky was just beginning to brighten, and old Lord Taishang had finished refining all the pills. Fortunately, the great sage and Yuan Hong woke up after Yi Zichen placed the pills into their mouths. Of course, it was inevitable that their bodies would weaken, so the two of them stayed in the Fox Yaos. As for Mount Huagua, they left it to the other two spiritual monkeys to take care of. Great sage, how's your recovery? Yi Zichen placed 2 bottles of Waha beside the great sage. After taking a few sips, the great sage scratched his head. It's all right. Old son, really screwed up this time. I didn't expect there to be such an expert in the world. Yeah, Yi Zichen sighed with a smile. However, the scene of him using the great Tao of Heaven's Birth to eavesdrop on the conversation between the white-shirt man and Fatty Een kept replaying in his mind. Now that I think about it, I'm really retarded. Even the Jade Emperor would be able to detect a technique like the great Tao of Heaven's Birth. No, even Zuemo would be able to detect it. The white-shirt man's strength clearly surpassed that of the 3 realms, and I actually tried to eavesdrop on them. Now, I'm just annoyed by the fact that I'm eavesdropping. So Lu, when are we getting married? Yuan Hong, who was wrapped in bandages, chased after Su Lu in the courtyard of the Fox Yaos and shouted about getting married. According to him, the only reason he was able to survive was because of his obsession with Su Lu. Otherwise, he would have died a long time ago. Who wants to get married to you? I don't want to talk to you since you're injured. Don't push your luck. or else I'll teach you a lesson. Su-Lu-Er, who was being chased relentlessly, stopped. Su-Lu-Er, who was being chased relentlessly, stopped. She furrowed her brows and looked angrily at Yuan Hong, who was sticking to her like a dog plaster. If you don't get married to me, then I won't live anymore. Yuan Hong continued to chase her shamelessly. Yuan Hong shamelessly chased after her. Su-Lu-Er clenched her teeth and put down her raised hand. She angrily swung her arm and ran away. What a quarrelsome couple. Old Lord Taishang shook his head and chuckled. He walked in front of the monkey and placed his hand on his wrist for a while before saying, "You're recovering pretty well. It won't be long before you're back to being that lively monkey demon that causes trouble for others. You dare to say that I, old son, am a monkey spirit?" Great Sage Jin Jing glared at him and snorted. "However, I really have to thank you this time." Old Lord Taishang shook his head and smiled. "It's all thanks to Hua Tuo's medical skills. Unfortunately, he was too busy in hell, so he went back early. When you have the time to visit hell, you should thank them properly. By the way, I asked Hua Tuo about it, and he said that you were able to survive because of your stubbornness. That brat Yuan Hong did it for Su-Lu-Er, but monkey..." Old Lord Taishang smiled meaningfully, while Yi Zichen suddenly recalled what the great sage had said before he died. Big gossip. The old man and the young man's eyes were burning with the flames of gossip, which made the great sage, who had the fiery eyes of truth, uncomfortable. "Why are you looking at me, old son? If you keep looking at me, my Jingu Bang will..." "Hey, monkey, don't get mad." Old Lord Taishang twitched his mouth. The corners of Old Lord Taishang's mouth twitched. Canopy had a slip of the tongue back then. He said that you were also... "Take this." The great sage picked up his Jingu Bang and chased after Old Lord Taishang. Yi Zichen sat on the stone chair with a smile and watched the lively atmosphere in the Fox Yao clan. "Time's up." At that moment, Fatty Een suddenly appeared in front of Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen looked up at him, then put down the Waha bottle on the table with a wry smile. "So fast. You've stayed in the Fox Yao clan long enough. He said that it's time for you to go back to where you belong." Fatty Een replied plainly. "Let's go." "Then why didn't he come?" Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "Haven't you two been avoiding each other recently? Are you going to meet him now that he's here?" "TSK, this job naturally falls to me." Fatty Een gritted his teeth in annoyance. Fatty Een's face was filled with displeasure. He gritted his teeth and muttered, "If he could come, do you think I want to leave my Juju?" Yi Zichen couldn't help but feel speechless. However, Fatty Een was right. That guy couldn't possibly come to see him, and even if he did, he wouldn't meet him. Yi Zichen patted the dust off his body, then looked longingly at the Fox Yao clan with a smile. "Can you say goodbye to them?" "Try not to." Fatty Een shook his head. "Try not to." Fatty Een twisted his neck and played with his fingers. Fatty Een twisted his neck and fiddled with his fingers as he said, "That guy said that it would be more troublesome if we told them and left. He knows who you want to say goodbye to, but he told me to tell you that if you say goodbye to them, that person will definitely want to leave with you. But Su-Lu he definitely won't. That's going to be troublesome again." "Why would Su-Lu refuse?" Yi Zichen frowned. "How would I know?" Fatty Een shrugged irresponsibly. "I just came to pass on a message. I don't know what that guy is thinking." Yi Zichen nodded, then suddenly calmed down. Since he said that Su-Lu wouldn't let him go, then she definitely wouldn't. It was clear that he had experienced this sort of situation before. "He told me to focus on doing what you should be doing. He'll deal with Su-Lu. Then, let's go." Without any hesitation, Yi Zichen and Fatty Een turned into a ray of light and disappeared from the Fox Yao clan. "Why didn't Yi Zichen come?" "I'll go and call him." Suyin put down her chopsticks and stood up when she saw Yi Zichen's empty seat. The white shirt man sitting opposite her smiled. Su Yin left. He left. Ow! Su Yin was stunned. "Then why didn't he take me with him? I don't want to stay here anymore." "Lil sis." Su-Lu slammed the table, causing everyone to jump in fright. "How many times have I told you? You're not allowed to have any contact with him. Was this not enough of a lesson? You nearly died in the demon realm because of him." The great sage and Yuan Hong were also involved. Why do you still want to follow him? I just want to follow him, Su Yin frowned. If Big Sis didn't take away my phone, if I could contact him, if I could be by his side, then I wouldn't have been in such danger. Even if I was in danger with him, he would protect me. I want to find him. Nonsense. Su Lu couldn't help but release a cold aura from her body, causing everyone in the room to shiver. Su Zhu, who was on the side, continuously tugged on Su Yin in an attempt to make her speak less. However, Su Yin simply stared straight at Su Lu and refused to budge. Yes, I'm being ridiculous. I just like following Yi Zichen. What about it? Is that wrong? It seems like Big Sis has been too nice to you recently. You actually learned to talk back. Su Lu's cold aura became stronger and stronger. Su Lu's aura grew colder and colder. The people around her couldn't help but want to step forward and comfort her, but in her rage, the white shirt man put down his chopsticks with a smile. Chapter 610. Leisure House on the back mountain of the Foxy House. Su Lu stood in the wind in front of him. The evening breeze blew her hair up and down, causing it to dance. The white shirt man followed behind her. After a few steps, Su Lu stopped and turned around. Senior, what exactly do you want to say to me? Big Sister Lu? There's no need to call me senior. The white shirt man casually waved his hand behind him. Su Lu didn't say anything, so she heard him speak again. Actually, the reason I called you here is mainly to tell you. If it's about my little sister, then there's no need for us to talk. Su Lu shook her head with a smile and prepared to leave. Lu Urgia, do you hate the Yellow Emperor that much? The white shirt man didn't stop Su Lu. When Su Lu heard this, she turned around and looked at him coldly. If it wasn't for the fact that I was weak back then, I wouldn't have let my little sister leave with him no matter what. Don't even mention hate. If he appeared in front of me right now, I might just directly kill him. That way, everything would be over. Actually, some things aren't like what you think, the white shirt man said. Senior, I respect your strength and the fact that you've helped me, Su Lu, a lot. That's why I treat you with respect. Although I, Su Lu, am weaker than you, if it's about my little sister and the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation, then no matter what you say, I can't. Su Lu turned around indifferently. The white shirt man let out a sigh and shook his head. Right now, I want you to not care about Yi Zichen and Su Yin. Why should I? Su Lu snorted. Could it be that you want to use force? Don't think that I, Su Lu, will be afraid just because you're strong. Boom. The berserk power of ice swept over. The white shirt man allowed the knife-like wind to sweep across his face. At the same time, he took out a white crystal coin. What about now? Su Lu suddenly stopped. The white shirt man placed the coin in Su Lu's hand. This was left behind by your mother. Your father once said that the person who found it would satisfy any request, no matter what. I want to use it right now so that you won't care about Yi Zichen and Su Yin anymore. Where did you get this coin? Naturally, I found it in this boundless world, the white-robed man replied. Su Lu pursed her lips and clenched the coin in her right hand. She didn't want to agree to this request, but she also didn't want to go against the wishes of her deceased father. Big Sister Lu, I have something else I want to show you. With that, the white-clothed man took out a crystal ball and placed it in front of Su Lu. Su Lu stared fixedly at the images in the crystal ball, her face growing paler and paler. You still don't want to change your ideology? Su Lu narrowed her eyes at him, her expression filled with an indescribable emotion. Who are you? How did that image appear just now? Personal experience, the white-clothed man replied in a sonorous voice. His fingers kept stroking the crystal ball, and he smiled bitterly. In the place where I live, this crystal ball is probably the only thing that can make me remember. Su Lu's expression changed dramatically. She pursed her lips as the scene from the crystal ball replayed over and over in her mind. Could it be that she saw the future? Who exactly are you? Why do you care so much about Yi Zichen? Could it be you are his teacher who reincarnated or his relative? Su Lu asked. The white-clothed man shook his head. I can't be considered a teacher, nor a relative. I can't really be considered as a relative. As for who I am, I can tell Big Sister Lu, but please don't tell anyone else. All right. Su Lu nodded with certainty. The mist covering the white-clothed man's face gradually disappeared. All of a sudden, Su froze on the spot. The white-clothed man with a long scar on his face smiled wryly in self-mockery. Do you understand now? The immortal region. Compared to the 4 seasons of spring in the Foxy House, Maple City in the outskirts of the immortal region was filled with red maple leaves. It was extremely beautiful. Actually, Maple City was famous for its autumn leaves. Many people from other cities and the sacred lands of the immortal region would come to Maple City to see the scenery during autumn. Yi Zichen returned to his residence in the spiritual breeze village. It had been a long time since he last returned. At that moment, the spiritual breeze village had already expanded the manor, and the courtyards that Zuo gave him were all connected. There was also a huge signboard outside the manor. Leisure House. Yi Zichen had mentioned it to Xueqi before he left for Mount Sky Sovereign. He had said that he wanted to establish a faction, and had even thought of a name. It was going to be called Leisure House. The name was mainly to express that he wanted reclusive scholars to come and live there. That way, if they don't offend me, I won't offend them. If they offend me, I have people. Yi Zichen didn't expect Xueqi to actually create Leisure House after so long. Zichenji, Xuelan, who had made a grass garland out of maple leaves, skipped over. Her eyes were filled with joy as she took off the garland from Xuelan's head and placed it on Yi Zichen's head. Lil Lan. Yi Zichen rubbed her hair, then the fatty spoke up. I've delivered the place. The future is up to you. Oh yeah, I left you a big move. Use it well. The fatty patted Yi Zichen's shoulder, then turned around and left. Yi Zichen muttered to himself as he looked at his departing figure. What big move? Zichen Gij, where did you go for so long? We all missed you so much. Xuelan giggled as she followed Yi Zichen into the courtyard. At that moment, there were a lot more unfamiliar faces in the spiritual breeze village, and some of them were being taught a lesson by Yellow Hair. I'm teaching you the etiquette of the upper class. Our leisure house is also one of the outer circle factions of the immortal region. Do you get it? We are on the same level as the Treasure Tower and the Mu family. If you guys don't pay attention to etiquette, then not only will you lose my face, you will lose the face of Leisure House, and even my boss. Yellow Hair put his hands on his hips as he spat. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. This brat's strength is truly improving rapidly. He was only at the mid-stage of the human immortal level before he left. Now, this brat actually has the strength of an early-stage sky immortal. He could be considered an expert in the 3 realms. Yi Zichen looked at the group of people who did not even dare to say anything after being scolded, then walked over with a smile. Yellow Hair, you know etiquette? Of course Oh, boss. Yellow Hair quickly bowed when he saw Yi Zichen. Boss, these old brats are truly too stupid. I have to teach them a lesson. Looking ahead, he saw that most of them were middle-aged men, and their strength ranged from early to perfected Earth immortals, however. Chapter 611. Chapter 611 is when Jinsai the Elder in the crowd wore normal linen clothes, but that was unable to hide his natural aura. Yi Zichen's gaze lingered on him, causing the surrounding people to subconsciously look over as well. Boss, this geezer just came yesterday. He's called Yellow Hair scratched his head, then pointed at the old man. Your called what? Zhuojinsai, the elder replied. Yeah, boss, this geezer is called Zhuojinsai. To be honest, that name is too lame. Yellow Hair twitched his mouth repeatedly. Yellow Hair twitched his mouth repeatedly. Yi Zichen raised his hand and patted his head, indicating him to move to the side. Then he walked in front of the elder and nodded with a smile. Senior, we meet again. I don't dare to call you senior. Little Friend is the owner of the leisure house. The elder took a few steps back with a wry smile. The old man took 2 steps back and said with a bitter smile, Little Friend, when you said you were going to the devil world to save someone, I thought you were from the devil world. I hope you can forgive me if I offended you. Senior, what are you saying? Yi Zichen smiled. Senior, when are you going to return to the treasure tower? I can get someone to send you back. Not in the near future, the elder sighed. The old man sighed softly, and there was a hint of sorrow in his turbid eyes. I've stayed in the demon realm for too long. Appearing so suddenly isn't good for the children. They didn't know that I was captured by the demon realm. What's more, my body is still too weak right now, so I want to stay here for a few days and understand the situation of the treasure tower. I wonder if, little friend, you can stay as long as you like, Yi Zichen quickly replied. Mo helped a lot for me to be able to develop like this. It seems like you have a close relationship with my granddaughter. Otherwise, she wouldn't have given the tower token to you. Indeed, but senior, please don't misunderstand. We're just pure friends. Yi Zichen couldn't help but explain in case Zhujinsai misunderstood. However, Zhujinsai revealed a meaningful smile and nodded. No worries. It doesn't matter. You youngsters should solve your own problems. Lil Mo is an adult. She should have her own thoughts. This old man won't get involved. The people around them were dumbfounded when they heard their conversation. Blondie, on the other hand, was better off. This brat was naturally dumb. Although he could tell that this old man might be related to the treasure tower, their leisure house was not much different from the treasure tower. As for the others, they weren't so calm. Treasure tower. That's a peak power in the three realms. I didn't expect there to be people from the treasure tower by their side. If one looked closely, they would notice that this old man seemed to be a direct descendant of the treasure tower. With this kind of status, they couldn't afford to be careless. They were all thinking about finding an opportunity to get closer to this old man. If they were lucky, they might be taken away by this old man. That way, their status would rise. I heard my brother Yi is back. Hearty laughter rang out from the crowd of Saint Empresses. Stone swung his arms, his upper body was bare, and the lines of his eight-pack were distinct. His tiger-like eyes were filled with smiles as he walked over. Xueqi followed beside him, while Lil Lan followed behind and made faces at Yi Zichen. Brother Yi. Xueqi remained as calm as ever. He walked over and patted Yi Zichen's shoulder, then raised his eyebrows. It seems like Brother Yi gained a lot from this trip. You guys aren't bad either. You're already in the mid-stage of the Earth Immortal level. Big Brother Stone also broke through to the Earth Immortal level and is about to reach the mid-stage. I didn't expect our village to have changed so much while I was away. It's all because of little brother Ye's girlfriend. The moment Stone opened his mouth, Yi Zichen covered his mouth and dragged him back. Yi Zichen even nodded towards Zhujinsai with a smile before leaving, while Zhujinsai maintained a meaningful smile. After everyone left, the middle-aged man who stood with Zhujinsai all surrounded him. Zhujinsai sighed when he saw that, as he kept on talking about Elder Zhu. He didn't mention his identity to them because he didn't want to see that. It seems like I won't be able to live peacefully anymore. Brother Yi, why are you dragging me back? Yi Zichen, who let go of Stone's hand when they reached the courtyard's living room, heard Stone mutter. Xueqi, talk to Big Brother Stone when you have time. Tell him to look at people and use his brain a bit more when he speaks. Yi Zichen shrugged in annoyance. Yi Zichen shrugged in annoyance. This Stone truly speaks without thinking. It would have been fine if it was any other time, but that was Zhumo's grandfather, Old Shui. Stone said, Brother Yi, I've already told you. You really should change. Xueqi rolled his eyes and said, How many times have I told you to watch your words? You just won't listen. Didn't you scare that expert away last time? Don't mention him to me. I get angry at the mere mention of him. Stone couldn't help but snort and laugh. He wants to rely on us, yet he's so good at acting. Why is he pretending? I just can't stand his face, so what's wrong with scolding him? He even wants the position of chief elder? Tui, he's not worthy. What did Stone say? Yi Zichen blinked. I'll go wash some fruits for you. Xuelan giggled as she ran away from the living room. At this moment, Xueqi replied, You saw it too. Leisure House has already been established. Due to Miss Zhumo's support, our Leisure House's resources far surpass those of the 6 pavilions and 3 gates. That's why there are so many people joining us. Yes, Yi Zichen nodded, then sighed in his heart. In the end, I still have to rely on Zhumo's resources. If this continues, then the Treasure Tower and Leisure House will definitely become entangled. It's fine if it's Zhumo, but I'm afraid of the other people in her clan. It seems like I have to find time to cut off Zhumo's resources. It's better to rely on myself to establish a force. At the same time, Xueqi spoke up once again. A mid-stage sky immortal expert came to our leisure house a few days ago. This sort of expert is a peak fighting force even in the three realms, so we naturally welcome him. However, that sky immortal expert has rather high requirements. Fine, that's too much. Stone snorted. 1,000,000 Celeste a month, and we have to provide resources for him to break through. We can't ask him to work, it's up to him. Why is he so amazing? He even took advantage of us. Stone's face turned red as he spoke. He swung his arms and really wanted to slap the old man. But you can't just directly insult that senior, right? He said that he'll come back sooner or later. It's fine if he insults you, but what if he really comes? Xueqi frowned. Even if you lend him 8 guts, he wouldn't dare. Stone smiled, then put his arm around Yi Zichen's shoulder. My little brother Yi is back as well. At this moment, a gust of wind blew in the courtyard. At the same time, a white-robed elder with a feminine face appeared in the air. Chapter 6:12. Son of the Castellan looking into the void. The white-robed old man stroked his beard with his right hand. He stood on a jade-green compass and looked down. Xueqi's expression changed the moment he saw the elder. Then he walked in front of Yi Zichen and muttered, "That's him." Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, then looked at the elder. Judging from a fluctuation of his spiritual energy, he was definitely an intermediate heavenly immortal expert. However, his spiritual power was relatively weak. It was obvious that he had used medicine to increase it, or he had encountered some kind of opportunity that forcefully pulled his strength up. All in all, his true combat power was at most at the early stage. The old man's face was filled with arrogance. Clearly, he did not take Stone, Xueqi, and the others seriously. If I say I'll come again, then I'll naturally come again. If not for the treasure tower support, what would a small leisure house be? The residents of Maple City also saw the situation in the sky and couldn't help but mutter to themselves, how dare this person fly in Maple City? 1,000 years ago, the City Lord's mansion had issued a ban that forbade anyone from walking more than 100 meters in the air. The old man was already more than 100 meters away. Boom! At this moment, a huge palm slammed down from the sky. The old man's eyelids twitched, and he took out an immortal sword to defend himself. Dong! The collision created a huge ripple of spiritual energy. Yi Zichen didn't hesitate to erect a barrier to protect everyone in the courtyard. It was also at this moment that a young man in fiery red armor walked out with a halberd in his hand. Yi Zichen glanced at the youth's equipment, then couldn't help but turn to Xueqi. Who is this person? The son of Maple City's city lord, Luo Yang. Rumor has it that Luo Yang is a genius that only appears once in 1,000 years. Even the Azure Sky Pavilion's pavilion master, Ruan Qingtian, can't compare to him. He reached the worldly immortal Great Circle at the age of 19. After that, he went out to explore the world in search of a breakthrough. 3 years have passed, and he should have made a breakthrough by now. Yi Zichen nodded slightly. In the end, he's the son of an official. No wonder he was so rich. Looking at his equipment, not to mention his weapons and armor, even the accessories on his wrist seemed to be at the divine level. Thinking about it, he should be the only child, so he was doted on by everyone. Of course, this child did not disappoint. He broke through to the celestial immortal stage at such a young age. His future was limitless. If he wanted to compare himself to Qiu Yuan of Pond City, he was also the city lord's father, and he was also the only son. But this brat just doesn't like to cultivate. But Mount Supreme's inheritance seems to have been given to him. I wonder how strong he'll be after he comes out. Maple City has banned flying in the air since 1,000 years ago. Are you trying to challenge the authority of the Castellan's mansion? The old man narrowed his eyes and glanced at the young man, his eyelids twitching. Don't be fooled by the young man's young age. His strength had only just stepped into the heavenly immortal stage. But from head to toe, his equipment was a divine artifact. Against such a rich second generation, even a middle-stage sky immortal like him could do nothing. Not to mention, he knew very well how he managed to reach the intermediate heavenly immortal stage. I'm sorry, I've always been a Lone Ranger. It's my first time here, so I don't know the rules. I'll just land on the ground. The old man's face was full of apologetic smiles as he landed. Qinglong Ao also landed and walked to his side. Let me take a look at your temporary residence permit. The old man quickly took it out. The young man nodded after taking a glance. The permit isn't fake. Since the document isn't fake, you're a guest of Maple City. I'll warn you one more time. Flying in the air is not allowed here. It won't be so simple if I see you again. Sure. The old man took out the temporary residence permit with a smile. The old man smiled apologetically as he took out his temporary residence permit and said, "Then if I want to teach a lesson to the residents in your city, I wonder." "Lesson? I understand." The young man subconsciously glanced towards Yi Zichen with a smile. Maple City forbids fighting. Fighting is prohibited in Maple City, but you can settle your personal grudges in private. The City Lord's mansion will not care about what happens outside of Maple City, nor do we care. However, don't ever fight in the city. The guards might not intervene in a clash between celestial immortals, and my father will turn a blind eye to it. But you're unlucky to run into me. I've always liked to meddle in other people's business. With that, he glanced at Yi Zichen and muttered to himself. This is the Yi Zichen that Lil Sis Lil Amo mentioned. Z's, I don't see anything special about him. Someone like him. Can he interfere with her marriage? I might as well just stab that sickly person from a Mu family to death with my halberd. Complete stage, human immortal versus sky immortal. This geezer's strength is average. He's at most an early stage sky immortal. However, that's not something that a human immortal can deal with. I've already done my best. As long as Yi Zichen is in the city, I can guarantee his safety. But to be honest, I do want to see this brat fight with this geezer. Lil Sis Lil Mo praised him so much that she's about to become a god. Yi Zichen didn't know how to read minds, so he didn't know what Luo Yang was thinking. However, the brat's gaze made him feel uncomfortable. Yi Zichen subconsciously shrunk his neck, then heard the elder snort. Then he heard the old man snort. "Brat, you should be the mysterious head of the leisure house, right?" "That's right." Yi Zichen nodded. "Leisure house? What the hell is leisure house? Did this faction change again in the years I wasn't around?" Luo Yang muttered to himself. "That's perfect. You people are being disrespectful towards this old man." "What?" Yi Zichen smiled. "I'm not that sort of unreasonable person. It's your misfortune to mess with a newly established faction like yours. How about this? Compensate me with 10 million Celeste, and I'll let this go." The old man snorted with a sinister smile. "Of course, you can choose not to compensate, but your people can only hide within Maple City. However, your people can only hide inside Maple City. As long as you leave the city, the outside world will be in chaos. You can't blame anyone if you die. You have the treasure tower support, and you don't lack money, so just treat it as buying peace. Isn't that pretty good? Don't you think so?" Head. The hot-tempered stone couldn't take it anymore and cursed. "If you dare to touch even a single hair on the people of Leisure House, then Lousy will fight you to the death. I never said that I would touch anyone from Leisure House. What's more, do you think you can threaten this old man at all?" There was a fearless smile on the old man's face. These fellows were just some minor human immortals. The only person that could threaten him was Luo Yang. As long as he didn't side with anyone, then Yi Zichen had no opponent here. "You." Stone wanted to step forward, but Yi Zichen raised his hand to stop him. At the same time, the old man spoke up once more. "Ed, what do you think?" Luo Yang also looked over curiously. He wanted to see if Yi Zichen was as stubborn as Zhuomo said. He had already thought it through. If Yi Zichen refused, then he would directly stab the old man with his lance. However, to everyone's surprise, Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Chapter 613. Bloodthirsty Old Man. This kid is too cowardly. Luo Yang frowned. To think that Zhuo praised this brat so much back at the Zhuo clan. He actually agreed to compensate for the damage. He couldn't allow Zhuo to continue dating someone like that. Also, what did that old man just say? Leisure House was only established because of the treasure tower support? Wouldn't it mean that the brat was living off a woman? Ding dong. Luo Yang's intimacy level with you has decreased by 100. Current intimacy level, 0. Ding dong. Intimacy level decreased, current level, cold. Yi Zichen, who was thinking about how to mess with the geezer, was momentarily stunned when he received the system notification. He looked towards Luo Yang in confusion, then raised his eyebrows. How did I offend him? Ha! Luo Yang snorted coldly when he noticed Yi Zichen's gaze. The elder naturally noticed the hostility in Luo Yang's gaze towards Yi Zichen, causing him to become even more excited. Then, please express your sincerity, Chief. How do you want me to express my sincerity? Yi Zichen smiled. The elder raised a finger towards him. 10 million. 10 million Celeste coins. TSK, TSK. It's a little different from my expectations. How about 20 million? Yi Zichen asked in a testing manner. There must be something wrong with this person's head. Luo Yang and the elder spoke at nearly the same time. There's someone who's taking the initiative to raise the price. However, the old man did not care so much. The more compensation he received, the better it was for him. Since Chief is so straightforward, then this old man will not decline. 20 million. As long as you take out the celestial coins, I can assure you that I won't lay a finger on the people of your leisure house. I will even protect them when I see them. As he spoke, the old man stretched out his hand. Yi Zichen blinked in shock as he looked at the hand he reached out. What are you doing? Chief, what do you mean? Of course, I'm asking for compensation. The elder smiled faintly. Only then did Yi Zichen smile. Do you think that I'm going to compensate you? You misunderstood. I'm saying that you should compensate me. The elder's expression instantly froze. He squinted his eyes and frowned at Yi Zichen. Chief, this is not a good joke. Who's joking with you? I'm telling the truth. Yi Zichen smirked and shrugged. Your actions and words just now have already severely damaged my fragile heart. 20 million Celeste will be your compensation for my mental distress. If you don't, buzz. A wave of spiritual energy was released from Yi Zichen's body. He tilted his head with a faint smile, while a golden aura swirled around his body. You can only leave your life here. Only now did Rock and Xueqi let out a relaxed smile. This was the Yi Zichen they knew. How could he possibly be as submissive as he was just now? Luo Yang was slightly taken aback by the sudden turn of events, but he soon revealed a faint smile. Interesting. The one with the worst expression was the old man. His entire face had turned the color of a pig's liver. His dark eyes stared at the young man, standing in front of him, who had a faint smile on his lips. He was actually threatened by someone. Before he reached the level of a celestial immortal, he had always been the one threatening others. He never thought that today he would be threatened by two young men. The city lord's son was rich and had divine artifacts all over his body. He could not afford to offend him. However, this leisure room's first seat was merely a perfection stage heavenly immortal. So why would he fear him? Don't blame me for not giving you a chance. The elder snorted at Yi Zichen with a dark expression. Compensation is the most peaceful solution. As the head of the leisure house, your every word and action determines the prosperity or decline of this faction. Don't ruin everything just because you want to be a hero. I'll return the same words to you. The golden aura around Yi Zichen grew thicker and thicker, and the faint image of an azure dragon gradually appeared behind him. It's not that easy to break through to the heavenly immortal realm. Don't make a mistake. 20 million Celeste might seem like a lot to others, but it shouldn't be that hard for someone like you who has had a certain amount of luck to come up with it. Right? Brat, you're courting death. The elder's expression darkened, then reached out towards Yi Zichen. Just as he stretched out his hand, a fiery red shadow appeared in front of him. Bang! The elder was slammed into the wall. When he looked up, he saw the city lord's son, Luo Yang, standing in front of him. I've already clearly told you that fighting is not allowed in the city. Do you think my words have gone in one ear and out the other? It's that brat. The elder raised his hand, only to hear Yi Zichen shrug. I didn't do anything. At the same time, the young man also nodded with a smile. Did you hear that? He didn't do anything. The one who did was you. Since you broke Maple City's rules time and time again, please come back to the city Lord's Manor with me. Luo Yang slowly walked forward with his lance in hand. The eyes of the elder, who was lying in the rubble, were bloodshot as he clenched his fists. "You're going too far. You're going too far." Boom! Raging spiritual energy swept through the surrounding space. The elder's hair suddenly turned faint purple, while his eyes gradually turned gray. Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned by the familiar change, then roared. "Watch out!" Luo Yang naturally sensed the danger, but it was already too late by the time he tried to defend himself. "Die!" The elder's right hand turned into a claw and clawed towards Luo Yang's chest. Even with the protection of the divine artifact battle armor, the elder still managed to tear off a piece of flesh. Gasp! Luo Yang gasped, then took a few steps back. The elder stood up from the ground like a wild beast. He looked at the piece of meat in his hand with bloodshot eyes and licked his lips. Gulp! Gulp! The elder tossed the piece of meat into his mouth in front of everyone, causing his lips and teeth to be covered in blood. So delicious. The elder sucked on his fingers, then licked the blood off the corner of his mouth, then walked over. "Become this old man's dinner." Whoosh! Suddenly, the elder disappeared from the area. At that moment, even a Sky Immortal level movement master could not match up to his speed. All Yi Zichen could see with the naked eye was a black shadow moving around. Screams sounded out in Luo Yang's ears. Wherever the black shadow passed by, the surrounding residents would slowly fall to the ground like dried corpses. "Run!" The peddlers abandoned their stalls and ran in all directions, while Luo Yang ignored his injuries. "Stop right there!" As the son of the city lord, he had the duty to protect the people in the city. He couldn't allow the elder to continue like this. The elder, who had consumed human blood, was several times faster than before. Like a ghost, he shuttled back and forth on the street. Bang, bang, as more and more residents fell to the ground. Luo Yang clenched his fists tightly, while his eyes bulged. "Bastard!" At that very moment, boom, a blood-red blade of energy shot towards the streets of the city, and coincidentally landed on the elder. Yi Zichen's eyes were dark as he slowly walked towards the elder with a huge blood-red scythe on his shoulder. Chapter 614. Sky Immortal. The blood scythe was as tall as a person. Yi Zichen carried it on his shoulder and looked majestically at the bloodshot old man, who had already lost his mind. The bloodthirsty old man, who was heavily injured, looked up and glanced at Yi Zichen. Then he stomped the ground with his right foot, turned his hands into sharp claws, and charged towards Yi Zichen. "Be careful. His speed isn't that of a normal person's." Luo Yang held his wound and reminded Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen nodded, then gripped the blood scythe tightly. Ding, ding, ding. The sharp claws clashed against the blood scythe. Yi Zichen waved the scythe with a relaxed expression and blocked all of the old man's attacks. "You still want to act tough?" Yi Zichen chopped down on the old man's arm, causing his right arm to fall to the ground. The old man cried out in pain, then grabbed the arm on the ground and bit it. Stone and company couldn't help but want to retch when they saw that. It's one thing for him to eat other people's flesh, but this guy actually didn't even spare his own. Unbeknownst to him, the moment he swallowed his arm, boom, the spiritual pressure of a mid-stage Sky Immortal increased tremendously, causing his aura to reach the late-stage Sky Immortal level in an instant. What's more, the arm that Yi Zichen chopped off grew back. No wonder his spiritual energy foundation is so weak. But it's a bit troublesome to recover. Yi Zichen nodded. At that moment, the old man smiled sinisterly, then charged over once again as he licked the blood from the corner of his mouth. The old man was extremely fast, so fast that it was impossible to determine his position with the naked eye. "Yi Zi, behind you." Xue Qi, who was observing the situation, suddenly shouted. Yi Zichen's heart turned cold, and he roared in his heart, swirling light armor. However, he was still a bit too slow. A second before he summoned his battle armor, his back had already suffered a fierce attack from his opponent, and a piece of flesh was torn off by his opponent's sharp claws. Hee. The old man laughed in a mocking manner. Yi Zichen took out a recovery pill and chucked it into his mouth. He gripped the blood scythe tightly with both hands, while his expression turned solemn. "Eat my halberd." At that moment, Luo Yang, who had been lying in ambush, stabbed forward with his halberd. "How dare you injure the people of my city in front of me? Die!" Luo Yang was infuriated as he watched the citizens of the city die at the hands of the old man. The elder smiled strangely, causing Yi Zichen's heart to skip a beat when he saw the smile. "No!" Luo Yang's halberd pierced towards the old man without any hesitation. However, when his halberd pierced through the old man's body, everyone realized that it was just a shadow. "Ah!" A howl rang out from Luo Yang's mouth. The old man had appeared behind him at some point in time, his sharp teeth biting down hard on his neck. "Get lost!" Yi Zichen kicked the elder away, then took out a pill and chucked it into Luo Yang's mouth. "Are you all right?" Luo Yang's face was pale. It was obvious that he had lost too much blood. Thinking back to the speed at which the old man had sucked the other people's blood, Luo Yang's blood essence must have been reduced by 20% in that short moment. "Cough, cough. I'm fine." "That bastard. Such a huge thing happened. Why isn't my dad here yet?" "There's no need for the city lord to come over. I've already found his weakness." Yi Zichen smiled. Yi Zichen smiled, then handed the weakened Luo Yang to Stone and Company. Then he stood up and looked towards the old man. At that moment, the old man was already in a daze. It was the same as Yi Zichen had thought. The more blood he drank, the stronger he would become. Correspondingly, his rationality would also gradually disappear. The scariest thing about a person was not their strong physique, but their intelligence. A person without rationality was no different from a beast. Then, no matter how strong the old man was, it would be useless. Yi Zichen's eyes darkened, and he raised the scythe in his hand up high. "Rest in peace." Whoosh! In an instant, 6 shadows that looked exactly like Yi Zichen appeared from Yi Zichen's body and surrounded the old man. At the same time, the blood scythe slashed towards the old man in the middle. The sinister-looking old man wanted to continue acting, but before he could even take a few steps, bang! A mist of blood erupted from his blood-covered body, while he fell powerlessly onto the ground. The deathly gray eyes that were mixed with scarlet gradually dimmed, and the hands that had turned into sharp claws also returned to their original state. "You lost the moment you abandoned your rationality." Yi Zichen turned around and put away the blood scythe. Yi Zichen turned around indifferently and put away his scythe. Beneath his cold exterior, his heart was filled with excitement. F***CK, the spiritual technique that guy taught me is so F***king useful. And this weapon, it's so much better than the Xinyuan sword. And it's even more handsome. Xinyuan Xiang, who was guarding the altar in the distant mountains, couldn't help but sneeze. She rubbed her nose, but didn't think too much about it. She glanced at the white-shirt man, then set her gaze back onto the sword on the altar. "Yeezy!" Stone ran over when he saw that the battle had ended. The old man on the ground was no longer moving, but none of the innocent people who had been turned into dried corpses were still alive. Near the group of dried corpses, many relatives and friends surrounded them and cried bitterly. Yi Zichen sighed, then kicked the old man in front of Luo Yang and raised his eyebrows. "You're the city lord's son, so I'll leave this guy to you. Since something like this happened, you have to give the citizens an explanation." "Thanks." Luo Yang cupped his hands towards Yi Zichen with a hint of self-mockery. At the very beginning, he was quite displeased with Yi Zichen and didn't understand why Lil Mo liked him so much. From the looks of it, he had the right. Luo Yang's gaze landed on the old man beside him. His palms and mouth still had traces of blood that had yet to congeal. This blood creak. Luo Yang clenched his fist tightly. "It's one thing for this guy to injure me, but he actually dared to kill my citizens in front of me, the young city lord. This is unforgivable." "Virum." Luo Yang raised his halberd up high. Yi Zichen could already guess what he was thinking when he saw that. However, he did not stop them. Since they had handed the person over to him, he would not stop them. Since Luo Yang left the people to him, this bastard broke the laws of my city and harmed my citizens. I have to kill him with my own hands and pay for the deaths of my citizens. Luo Yang stabbed his halberd down towards the old man with bloodshot eyes. Ding! However, the moment he attacked, a middle-aged man appeared in front of them and pushed his halberd into the ground. There's a helper. Chapter 615. Blood Zombie Ding. The blood scythe, which had always been unstoppable, seemed to lose its sharpness when it touched the middle-aged man. The scythe was caught between the man's fingers. Yizichin tried to pull out, but found that he couldn't. I'm not your enemy. The middle-aged man wore a light blue robe embroidered with mountains and rivers. He smiled faintly and let go of the scythe. At the same time, Luo Yang, who was in front of him, shouted in shock. Father! As soon as he finished speaking, his weak face flushed with anger. Where did you run off to, old man? As the Lord of Maple City, how could you not appear immediately when something like this happened? What kind of city lord are you? Also, where did the guards of Maple City go? Did they go eat shit? Luo Yang trembled in anger as he cursed loudly. However, Yizichin and company also realized what was going on from his words. The man in front of them was the Lord of Maple City, and also the #1 expert of Maple City, Luo Wei. This is indeed my mistake as the city lord, but you must believe me. Just now, I couldn't get away, and neither could the guards of the city lord mansion. Luo Wei let out a long sigh and shook his head as he looked at the dried corpses of the citizens. The guard in the city also arrived late. They silently allowed the dead man to wave his fists at them, but they still lifted the dried corpse. For the normal operation of Maple City, this scene couldn't be seen by too many people. Kiki only needed to look closely to see that they were all injured. What happened in the city lord's mansion? Luo Yang couldn't help but ask when he noticed this. Luo Wei shook his head, then nodded. Then, he let out a long sigh and brushed his hand over Luo Yang's wound. The wound healed at a visible rate. The city lord's mansion was also attacked just now. The other party's strength is not weak. They stopped me and the guards of the city lord's mansion. Clearly, they don't want us to interfere with your side. A gang crime? Luo Yang frowned. I don't think so. Yizichin squinted his eyes and walked over, then said his thoughts. It might be as City Lord said. The people who attacked the manor were trying to stop City Lord, but that doesn't mean they know each other. Hearing that, Luo Wei turned around and smiled towards Yizichin. Chief of the Leisure House, at first, I wasn't particularly optimistic about this new faction. However, after seeing your strength, I'm suddenly filled with expectations for this faction. The blood scythe you used just now seems to be a blade of blood energy, right? Yes. Yizichin was shocked. That guy had told him that the blade of blood energy was a technique from the God Realm. Yet, this city lord was able to see through it. It seemed that anyone who could become a city lord was no ordinary person. The blood scythe is transparent. Clearly, your blood energy is especially pure. To be able to learn this secret technique, it seems that you are not an ordinary person. However, how are you so certain that the person who attacked the city lord's mansion and this old man before us are not the same person? This old man has a very dense devil chi on his body, and there's also an aura that I don't know what it is. There's only devil chi on your bodies, but there's no other kind of aura on this old man. Yizichin shrugged and smiled. From the looks of it, you were attacked by the devil clan. With that, Yizichin snorted in his heart. I really didn't expect the demon realm to have infiltrated so far. There are demons in the heavenly court, the underworld, and even the outskirts of the immortal region. I wonder if there are demons in the sacred land of the immortal region as well. Demon. Luo Wei's body trembled. Then he frowned. Don't make things up. Do you have any proof? It had been several tens of thousands of years since the demons had interfered in the outskirts of the immortal region. How could Luo Wei not be shocked when he heard that the one who attacked them was a demon? I have a blood feud with the demons. I just returned from there a few days ago. Yizichin smiled. Yizichin smiled. Luo Wei's expression turned even more shocked. Just returned. This little friend is speaking the truth. At that moment, Elders will walked out of the courtyard with a smile. Just then, Elders will walked out of the courtyard and smiled. Luo Wei, long time no see. I didn't expect you to be the governor of Maple City. Vo Uncle Zwa. Luo Wei's eyes widened as he took a step back in shock. Zwa Honda told me that you, what? Did he say that I'm already dead? Elders was smiled. No, Luo Wei shook his head. Honda never said that you passed away. He merely told me that you disappeared. He was worried that something might have happened to you. We've been searching for you all this time. Wait, what did you mean just now? Could it be that you... Luo Wei didn't dare to continue. It would be too shocking if all of this was true. This isn't a good place to talk. Let's find a quiet place to talk, Elders was smiled. At that moment, Yi Zichen also walked over with a smile. Let's talk in my manor. Let's talk in my residence. Everyone is already here anyway. Luo Wei stared at Elder Zhua in the guest hall of Yi Zichen's manor. Let's talk in my manor. Uncle Zhua. Actually, it's just as you thought. I was indeed captured by the demons, Elders was said calmly. Old Man's was said indifferently. The demons are interested in my family's wealth and status in the immortal region, so they want me to become their lackey. What a joke. I, Zhu Jinsai, am not the kind of person who betrays others. Zhu Jinsai's tone was filled with pride. Luo Wei pursed his lips and glanced at Yi Zichen. This little friend did go to the demon realm, but he's someone of the 3 realms, said Zhu Jinsai. Luo Wei heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Zhu Jinsai's reply. However, his expression was still grave. However, his expression remained solemn. I really didn't expect the demon's minions to appear again. Just what is their goal? Also, was the person who attacked the City Lord Manor really not in cahoots with that person? No, Zhu Jinsai shook his head. Zhu Jinsai shook his head and said, I don't know who attacked your City Lord's mansion, but the person you took away was definitely not someone from the devil race. He's a blood zombie. A zombie that can increase its strength by consuming fresh blood. Blood zombie. Luo Wei and Yi Zichen both frowned. You youngsters might not know, but blood zombies were created several tens of thousands of years ago. Hamba, the Yellow Emperor's daughter, was the first zombie. After that, the 4 primordial zombies appeared. Ho Qing, Ingo, Hamba, and Jianshan. That person just now increased his strength by consuming human blood. He's definitely a blood zombie. Zhu Jinsai's expression darkened. But blood zombies require the existence of a mother. That person just now was definitely not a mother. Then, there must be a mother behind him. It seems like the world of chaos is about to arrive. The demons and zombies. Chaos. 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 Mother? What's a mother? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The mother is the main body of transmission. Normally, a bite on a normal person's neck will be transmitted to the next. Zhu Jinsai chuckled. However, Yi Zichen shot up from his chair when he heard that. Oh no! At the same time, Stone ran in. Chapter 6:16. Poison go. Go away. Luo Yang half knelt on the ground in the center of the courtyard and held his forehead with his hand, while his face was filled with pain. He continuously waved his hand and ordered the surrounding people to leave with a hoarse voice. Brother Luo, hold on for a bit longer. Stone already went to find Yi Zi and Ko. Xueqi spoke up, but before he could finish, Luo Yang, who was half kneeling on the ground, suddenly jumped up. Luo Yang, who was half kneeling on the ground, suddenly jumped up. His deathly gray and bloodshot eyes glared at him as he tried to grab him with both hands. No! Luo Yang pushed his head with one hand and slowly took a few steps back with the last bit of sanity he had left. A bird flew past his mouth. His expression immediately changed. Then he leaped up and grabbed the bird, then bit it with his teeth. Not long later, the bird turned into a dried corpse and fell from his hands. Luo Yang was no longer in so much pain, but he still sat on the ground and started to cry. Luo Yang. Yi Zichen and company hurried over. Luo Yang looked up when he heard that. His blood-covered face was filled with fear, while tears rolled down his cheeks. What's going on? Luo Wei looked at the scene in front of him in shock, while the dried corpse of the bird landed beside Luo Yang. Lil Yang. Luo Wei immediately ran towards Luo Yang. However, Luo Yang shook his head intensely and took a few steps back. Don't come over. I can't control myself. What are you saying? You're my son. Luo Wei hugged Luo Yang with an unquestionable tone. Luo Yang stopped struggling after a while, and merely fell into Luo Wei's arms as he cried out, Dad, what's wrong with me? I just can't help it. I can't help it. Dad, what's wrong with me? I just can't help it. I can't help it. Luo Wei hugged Luo Yang tightly. However, at that very moment, Luo Yang, who had just drunk the bird's blood, suddenly had a change in his eyes. He twisted his body in pain, then glared around with bloodshot eyes. I can't take it anymore. Dad, just kill me. Luo Yang screamed in pain. Luo Wei couldn't help but tear up as the lord of a city when he saw his child's pain. Don't be afraid. I'll definitely make you better. Luo Yang cried out in pain. In the next instant, his expression changed, and he pushed Luo Wei to the ground. Luo Wei could have resisted, but when he saw the child in pain, he didn't use any spiritual energy. Instead, he stretched his arm towards the child's mouth. Bang! At this moment, Zhuo Jinsai struck Luo Yang's neck with his palm, knocking him out. Luo Wei, what are you thinking? Do you want to become like him? What can I do? He's my child. Tears fell uncontrollably from Luo Wei's eyes. It's not like he didn't see how much pain he was in just now. I won't let him hurt anyone else. I'll feed him my blood. Fool, Zhuo Jinsai scolded. We can still control Luo Yang like this, but if you become like him, have you thought about Maple City's future? Outside the immortal region, you can be considered a peak expert. Even in the Holy Lands, there are very few who are stronger than you. Do you want to see the three realms being plunged into misery and suffering? Then what should Liliang do? Luo Wei shrugged helplessly. Who can tell me what happened to him? You should have been infected by the blood zombies. Yi Zichen, who was standing on the side, walked over and recalled the scene of the battle. The old man seemed to have bitten Luo Yang during the battle. Hearing that, Luo Wei looked towards Luo Yang's neck and saw that there was indeed a mark on his neck, which was emitting a faint black aura. Can you tell us what happened in detail? Zhuo Jinsai asked. Thus, Yi Zichen recounted everything that had happened. When Yi Zichen heard all that, Luo Wei's hands fell to the ground powerlessly, as if he had lost all his strength. He looked at his only son in front of him blankly, turned into a blood zombie. This was all his fault. If only he could have dealt with those troublemakers from the Devil Realm faster. If I had rushed over to Luo Yang right away, that way, such a thing wouldn't have happened. Luo Wei, don't worry too much. Lil, you said it very clearly. The moment the old man bit Luo Yang, Lil, you pushed him back. Then Luo Yang's poison shouldn't be too deep. There might be a way to deal with it. Zhuo Jinsai comforted on the side. Then tell me what to do. Luo Wei frowned. Zhuo Jinsai was momentarily stunned, but didn't say anything. Although he knew about blood zombies, he didn't know how to get rid of the poison. You can't say anything either. Luo Wei smiled wryly. City Lord Luo, don't worry. I'll go ask my friend. Yeah, Lilia's friend might have a way. Zhuo Jinsai smiled. Zhuo Jinsai also revealed a smile and said, Little Ye's friend is an expert. He might really know a solution. Luo Wei nodded sincerely when he heard Zhuo Jinsai's words. Please. The first person Yi Zichen thought of was naturally the stubborn old man, old Lord Taishang. However, no matter how many times he sent messages or videos, it was like mud sinking into the ocean. Then he found Hua Ta. There was still no reply. Since the two old men did not respond, Yi Zichen licked his lips, then let out a sigh and found the system. Hey, you there, right? System notification. I really didn't expect you to actually find me. Do you want to ask me about blood zombies? Yi Zichen was already used to the system's foresight. Since you know, then don't keep me in suspense. Tell me, how should we deal with it? System notification. Luo Yang's poison isn't too deep. Just get his father to use celestial spiritual energy to get rid of the poison in his body. However, this will use up a lot of energy and might cause his cultivation level to decrease greatly. You have to tell him this in advance. Sure. With that, Yi Zichen put away his phone. However, to his surprise, the system actually said a few more words to him. System notification. Is the blood scythe I taught you useful? It's all right. I can't say that it's very useful, but it's much better than Xian Yuan's sword. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Xian Yuan Xiang, who was standing guard in front of Xian Yuan's sword, also clenched her teeth and clenched her fists. The white shirt man signaled her to calm down, then replied with a smile. System notification. That's because the seal on Xian Yuan's sword hasn't been undone. I'll return Xian Yuan's sword to you after a while. Then, you'll know what the number one primordial divine artifact is. Oh, Yi Zichen shrugged. System notification. Oh yeah, don't interfere too much with the underworld and the heavenly court. They'll deal with the situation on their own, but you can tell them that there are demon spies among them. Yi Zichen suddenly raised his eyebrows. Chapter 617. Establish one's prestige. That was a question that had troubled Yi Zichen for a long time. He didn't know that there was a demon spy in both the underworld and the heavenly court, but he didn't know who it was. If he could find out from the system, he wouldn't care if the higher-ups of both sides believed him or not. He would find some companions from the two realms and punish that guy. He would treat it as getting rid of a pest for the three realms. System notification. Do you think I'll tell you? Why can't you tell me? Can't just the two of us know? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. System notification. Don't tell me I don't understand you. If I tell you, you'll definitely go looking for trouble. Sorry, this will mess up my plan. I can't possibly tell you. Plan, what is your plan? Your plan is to wait for the demon realm spies to stir up chaos in these two realms. Do you want to see the three realms plunge into misery and suffering? Yi Zichen clenched his fist and frowned. System notification. You can understand it this way. My appearance has never been to save the three realms. Everything I want to do is for my own selfish desires. I can't help it. I'm such a selfish person. I can't be bothered with you. Yi Zichen put his phone back into his pocket, then ignored the system. He was a selfish person. What about himself? Yi Zichen walked in front of Luo Yang with a wry smile. Chief, is there any way? Luo Yang hasn't been poisoned too deeply. I can just use my spiritual power to force the poison out. However, this will consume your vitality and cause your cultivation to decrease greatly. Think about it yourself. With that, Yi Zichen turned around indifferently. Before he left, he told Xueqi and the others to arrange rooms for City Lord Luo if he needed them. Yi Zichen laid on the bed and started to sort out his recent situation. Both the heavenly court and the underworld had people who had defected to the demon realm. It seemed that the demon realm was plotting a huge conspiracy. Right now, everything was just a foreshadowing. They were waiting for a certain point to erupt completely. Who could that person be? Yi Zichen muttered. When he went to save Su Yin, he clearly saw people from the heavenly court chatting with Gu Li, but the people from the heavenly court covered their faces. Ding dong. The phone on the bed rang. Yi Zichen picked it up and saw that old Lord Taishang had replied to him. Celestial, you were looking for me just now. Everything else is fine, but if it's the alchemy secret manual, you have to give me some time to consider it. I'm not looking for you for the alchemy secret manual. I want you to help me save someone, but there's no need for that now. Oh yeah, are you still with the Fox Yaos? How are things with the Great Sage and the others? I'm not sure about that. Didn't Oldly get poisoned a while ago? His condition has been rather serious recently, so I went back to the heavenly court to take a look at him. Old Lord Taishang replied. What's the situation? Yi Zichen asked. It's not optimistic. Old Lord Taishang, who was sitting in the alchemy room, frowned. He thought back to Heavenly King Li's black face and shook his head. The poison runs deep. Recently, everyone in the heavenly court has been in a state of panic, but the Jade Emperor doesn't care about politics. He only wants to enjoy himself. Without Old Li, the heavenly court is in a mess. Recently, I plan to go into seclusion to refine an antidote for Old Li. The heavenly court can't continue to be in such a mess. Is there anything you need my help with? Yi Zichen asked. Then how about Sky Sovereign teach me the spiritual guidance art? Old Lord Taishang rubbed his hands with a smile. If I have this secret art, then Old Li's chances of curing the poison will increase by a lot. But I really don't know how to teach it, Yi Zichen shrugged. Then never mind. Don't bother me for now. With that, Old Lord Taishang turned off his phone and walked in front of the cauldron. He chased all of the children out of the alchemy room, including his chief disciple. He could not afford to be careless with the pill refinement, so he had to handle it personally. Within the Red Packet server, it was just as Old Lord Taishang had said. Everyone in the heavenly court was in a state of panic, which could be seen from the conversations in the group. God of Thunder, I wonder if Old Li can cure the poison. Can it be Marshall, since Old Lord Taishang went in person? there shouldn't be a problem. Immortality Peach Fairy. Neza hasn't been playing ball with me recently. God of Fortune. If he still plays with you in a situation like this, then he really doesn't know what to do. Neza, who is the one that got down from my father? Come out now, I want to fight you one-on-one. Nja, shameless bastard. How dare you hurt my dad? Muja, that's right. Come out. I'm going to kill you. Jinja, don't let me find out who it is. I won't let you off easily. I know the culprit is in the heavenly court. Humph. Hide well. Heavenly soldier, eh? The murderer is actually in the heavenly court, my God. Fairy, what should we do? The Jade Emperor hasn't been paying attention to politics recently. Is our heavenly court going to decline, just like this? I've read many books before, and the dynasties in the books all decline like this. The Emperor ignored the affairs of the court, and the officials schemed and schemed against each other. Neza, such a big thing happened, but the Jade Emperor didn't even look at my father. He only knows how to listen to music and have fun. I don't want a Jade Emperor like that. God of Fortune. Neza, you don't even let me say it? The Jade Emperor is so stupid and tyrannical. Ding dong. Fairy was also kicked out of the chat group by Only Idealism. Ding dong. Only Idealism also muted everyone. Immortality Peach Girly. Nez's emotions might not be too stable because his father is injured. Go and accompany him more in the near future. Don't let him say such things in the group anymore. Also, I've already kicked Fairy hard out of the group. The Heavenly Court has been established for hundreds of thousands of years. It's not like it can be destroyed so easily. Even if the Jade Emperor doesn't care about it, there's still us deities. Don't worry about groundless things just because of such a small matter. Do your job well, and our Heavenly Court won't fall, understand? You guys messing around here will only make those people with ulterior motives happy. They want to see you guys like this. Everyone in my group is an expert. Don't tell me you don't understand such simple logic. Lastly, anyone who dares to spread rumors about the Heavenly Court's demise will be kicked out of the group. Ding dong. Only Idealism also muted everyone. Immortality Peach Fairy. Got it, big bro. I'll accompany Neza well for the next few days. Canopy Marshall. It's because Sky Sovereign is here. Look at this atmosphere. God of Fortune, yeah. God of Thunder. Sky Sovereign is right. We can't mess around here. Neza, Sky Sovereign, I was wrong. I won't say anything in the group anymore. But I still want to say something. If only you were the boss of the Heavenly Court. The deities fell silent. Neza, I think I said something wrong again. Fine, I'll stop. The group instantly became silent. But it wasn't that the deities didn't want to talk anymore. They were just thinking about what Neza had just said. Chapter 618. Grand Manager of the Cabinet Chaos. The Heavenly Court was truly in a mess. The Seven Fairies concert was in danger, and pagoda-bearing Heavenly King Li was poisoned. However, the Jade Emperor, who was the ruler of a realm, continued to enjoy himself without caring about it. At the very beginning, he had wanted to help the Seven Fairies find the culprit. But now he decided to just keep the Seven Fairies by his side and give him solo concerts every single day. As for pagoda-bearing Heavenly King Li, old Lord Taishang will be fine. Those were the Jade Emperor's words. If it was in the past, then he might have been able to control the situation with Tai Bai jinxing around. However, Tai Bai jinxing truly felt like the Heavenly Court was without a leader now that he left the organization. For example, God of Thunder, Mother of Lightning, Canopy, Yang Jian. They were good at leading troops to war, but when it came to managing internal affairs, it could only be summed up in one word. Hee. That was why the fairies' words appeared in the group. Actually, that was only the tip of the iceberg. There were even more speculations and worries in the Heavenly Court that had not been expressed in the group. However, Yi Zichen's swift decision and forceful words were like a shot of adrenaline in the hearts of the deities. What they needed now was someone who could give them orders and tell them how to move forward. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Yi Zichen's phone was about to explode. The system notifications continuously rang, and the notification bar continuously refreshed. Boy of Wealth's intimacy level increased by 100. Golden Boy's intimacy level increased by 100. Jade Lady's intimacy level increased by 100. Mysterious Lady of the Nine Heavens' intimacy level increased by 100. The system notification bar continuously refreshed the heavenly court's intimacy level. Yizichin held his phone in shock as he looked at the continuously scrolling intimacy level notifications. His unintentional words just now had actually subdued all the immortals. These deities' intimacy level is way too easy, right? In fact, everything wasn't that simple. The reason why his words had such a huge impact was ultimately because of his previous actions. Sky Sovereign. That was the supreme title in the heavenly court. Those who were given the title of Sky Sovereign were all existences at the top of the pyramid. Secondly, his name spread far and wide in the heavenly court. Some minor deities looked up to and worshipped him for his mysteriousness, while some great deities knew his name even if they didn't know him. The food, clothing, and daily necessities of the heavenly court all bore his logo. It was like a green bamboo. In 4 years, it would only grow to 11 centimeters, but if its roots were wide enough, it could grow to more than 10 meters in just a few weeks. Yizichin was rather happy that so many deities were chasing after him. However, they couldn't just blatantly ban the Jade Emperor. After all, he had been the leader of the heavenly court for hundreds of thousands of years, and his main body was also in the group. Don't say such things. The Jade Emperor is still the Jade Emperor. I'm just a subordinate. The Jade Emperor belonged to the center, so he naturally had his strength. Don't say such things again, or don't blame me for turning against you. Neza, tongue sticking out emoji. God of Thunder, please don't be angry, Sky Venerable. Neza is still young and doesn't know what to say. Please don't be offended. But what do you think we should do? The heavenly court does need someone who can rally the immortals. God of Fortune, that's right, Sky Master. What do you think we should do? We really don't have a leader. Canopy Marshal. If it's someone else giving orders, this old pig won't accept it. Sky Sovereign, that old pig head will agree. Mother of Lightning, +1. Barefoot Immortal. I shouldn't interfere with the internal affairs of the heavenly court, but the heavenly court does need someone who can rally everyone. Profound Lady of the Nine Heavens. Ahem, I'm interrupting. Yulao, what a rare guest. God of Fortune. Profound Lady, sorry for not coming out to greet you. Hurry, play the music. The background music of Zhu Beiji carrying his wife floated past the Canopy Marshal's voice message. Canopy Marshal. Profound Lady, want to meet? Profound Lady of the Nine Heavens, stop messing around. I came here to pass on the Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother's words. Awkward silence. All the deities in the group stopped talking. The Profound Lady of the Nine Heavens was not too surprised. It was very easy to understand why the deities were like that. Some of them were slandering the Jade Emperor just now, so they wanted to hide. As for the others, perhaps they were scoffing at the Jade Emperor's late orders. Yulao, ahem, Profound Lady, hurry up and speak. We've been waiting for the Jade Emperor's orders for a long time. Mysterious Lady of the Nine Heavens, imparting the Jade Emperor's laws. Heavenly Lord Nameless understands my heart. He is also loyal to the heavenly court. He specially ordered the Fairy of the Nine Heavens to pass on the order that Celestial Venerable Nameless would be appointed as the chief of the cabinet of the heavenly court. He would be given full authority to handle all matters in the heavenly court. Yizichin was completely dumbfounded by the news. Was he in power now? Before he could react, the Empyrean Fairy, whom he had added as a friend a long time ago, sent him a red packet. Ding dong. You have received a red packet from the mysterious lady of the ninth heaven. Jade Emperor's waist token. Jade Emperor's waist token. The personal item of the Jade Emperor in the middle of the 6 Imperials. Sky Sovereign, congratulations, congratulations. The future of the heavenly court depends on you. The Profound Lady of the Nine Heavens sent a message. Yizichin was completely dumbfounded. Was the Jade Emperor really not afraid of him rebelling after giving him the waist token? Or was this the Jade Emperor's test? What's there to be happy about? I've always been a carefree person. Now that I've been given such a great responsibility, I'm terrified. Empyrean, there's no need to worry. Nine Heavens Fairy replied. Actually, the Queen Mother has been paying attention to this group just now. She only invited the Jade Emperor after seeing your post. When the Jade Emperor heard that it was you, he agreed without hesitation. Clearly, he trusts you a lot. Is that so? Yi Zichen replied with a smile. I'll tell you in secret. Please don't tell anyone else. The fairy replied mysteriously. Go ahead, Yi Zichen replied. Actually, the Queen Mother has some complaints about the Jade Emperor's recent management. The Queen Mother feels that you are suitable for management and thinks that you will be stronger than the Jade Emperor. The Conference of the Three Realms will begin in about a year's time. Your Highness hopes that during this period of time, you understand. Yi Zichen's heart trembled. Do you want to overthrow me? Although the system had been planning everything, Yi Zichen still felt a bit worried when someone from the Heavenly Court actually contacted him about it. The Jade Emperor had been the ruler of the Heavenly Court for hundreds of thousands of years. Was he really going to overthrow him? What's more, the six royals were of the same breath and branch. It wouldn't be so easy. Lady Empyrean, don't speak carelessly, replied Yi Zichen cautiously. It seems like Sky Sovereign is a sensible person. Let's see if I'm speaking carelessly or not. Don't let anyone else know about this conversation. It's enough that you, I, and the Queen Mother know. All right, I'm going to do skincare with the Queen Mother. Bye. Bye. Yi Zichen let out a sigh, while the shock in his heart increased. It seems like the Jade Emperor's incompetence has already reached a terrifying level. Otherwise, the Queen Mother wouldn't have sent the profound Lady of the Nine Heavens to tell me that. The ruler of the Heavenly Court. Chapter 619. Chapter 619. Red Packet before Yi Zichen could even feel happy about being promoted to the Heavenly Court's Grand Secretariat. The people in the group seemed to be even more excited than him. The group was already in an uproar. Immortality Peach Fairy. Congratulations, big brother, for getting promoted. God of Thunder. Congratulations. Yulao. It's great that our leader got promoted. Canopy Marshal. Sky Sovereign. Shouldn't you say something? God of Fortune. Yes, you should. The entire Heavenly Court is under Sky Sovereign's control now. Wait, something's wrong. Canopy Marshal. You're too much. That's our leader. You actually want to ask him for benefits. Barefoot Immortal. I'm happy to see that. Profound Lady of the Nine Heavens. The future Heavenly Court still needs you guys. Sky Sovereign's Grand Secretariat's token has already been sent out. Please cooperate. Canopy Marshal. Beauty you want to date? Profound Lady of the Nine Heavens. F***CK off. Immortality Peach Fairy. Hee. Canopy Marshal is so embarrassing. Canopy Marshal. Oh, you little girl actually dared to tease me, old pig. Immortality Peach Fairy. Why wouldn't I dare? My big brother is your superior. God of Thunder. Z's, Sky Sovereign, we don't dare to trick you. Little Immortality Peach Fairy. You have to say something about your big brother getting promoted, right? Immortality Peach Fairy, what? I'm just a little fairy. How can I catch the attention of great deities? God of Fortune. Don't we still have Peaches of Immortality? God of Thunder. Yeah, Immortality Peach Fairy. But Barefoot Immortal. Your big brother is already the head of the Heavenly Court. What are you afraid of? F. All the deities in the group cheered. Immortality Peach Fairy thought about it and agreed. Big Brother Tower is already the head of the Heavenly Court. What's there for me to be afraid of? Ding dong. Tap. Although Yi Zichen didn't say anything in the group, he had been waiting for an opportunity. The moment the red packet appeared, Yi Zichen reacted quickly. You received Immortality Peach Fairy's red packet. 50-year Peach of Immortality X1. Ever since the great sage stole from the Immortality Peach Garden, the age of the Immortality Peaches became worse and worse. Canopy Marshal, 10-year once. God of Fortune, 10-year once. Immortality Peach Fairy. Don't blame me. The great sage has been coming over to visit us recently, and this is considered quite old. Immortality Peach Fairy. It seems like I can't hide it anymore. It seems like I can't lurk anymore. So Yi Zichen appeared in the group with a chuckle. You guys actually found out. Ahem, I become the head supervisor of internal affairs. I'll have to rely on the cooperation of all the immortals in the future. Yulao, I have to cooperate. God of Thunder, the Sky Sovereign's command is my direction. Erlang Shun, oh my god, it seems like I missed out on a lot. The little Immortality Peach lass even sent a red packet. What the hell was going on? Canopy Marshal. Sky's sovereign has been promoted and is now the head of our heavenly court. From now on, we will all listen to Sky's sovereign. Erlang Shun, oh my god. Ding dong. A red envelope suddenly appeared on the screen. Since Yi Zichen was typing when he sent the red packet, he didn't pay much attention. By the time he tried to snatch it, the red envelope was already gone. As Yi Zichen watched the red packet brush past him, he couldn't help but sigh in pity. God of fortune, did the sun rise from the west today? Second brother Yang actually sent a red packet. God of thunder, look at what he sent. Erlang Shun, I'm just doing it for fun. You can do it if you can. You're such a miser. You actually have the cheek to say that about me? God of thunder, what a joke, I'll just send it. Is there a red packet missing? Ding dong. Tap. This time, Yi Zichen didn't type anything. He immediately went up to snatch the red packet the moment it appeared. You receive God of Thunder's red packet. Profound art of lightning control, X1 golden boy. Uncle Thunder, did you take the wrong medicine? Jade Girl, oh my god. Yi Zichen didn't expect God of Thunder's red packet to actually send out the golden boy and Jade Girl. That wasn't all. The people in the group all praised God of Thunder's generosity. Yi Zichen clicked open the red packet curiously and looked at everyone else's luck. Outer Realm, Thunder Rock. Rootless Holy Fruit. 9-leaf Divine Grass. The red packets were filled with treasures that Yi Zichen felt were super high-leveled just from the names. He muttered in his heart, is this really the God of Thunder I know? The God of Thunder who is unwilling to give out even a single bit of cultivation experience. God of Thunder, F***, hurry up and return the stuff. I sent it to the wrong person. Ugh. As expected, the people in the group all mocked him when they saw his message, while God of Thunder also cried to get the treasures back. Yi Zichen naturally sneaked away at this moment. Profound art of lightning control. This was a treasure worth over 1 million cultivation experience in the treasure shop. Profound art of lightning control. A secret technique to control lightning. Able to summon the profound lightning of the 9 heavens after use. Z's. Yi Zichen couldn't help but click his tongue when he saw the description. This was definitely a top-tier secret scripture. Learn. Ding dong. The system detected that you want to learn profound art of lightning control. This secret scripture will disappear after use. Would you like to confirm? Confirm. Ding dong. Use failed. Since you do not possess the mutated lightning attribute, you cannot use this secret scripture. The secret scripture has been returned to the treasure chest. Screw me. Yi Zichen looked at the display on his phone in shock. It's definitely messing with me. I'm actually not allowed to use a top-tier secret scripture. Ding dong. System notification. Brat, what are you thinking? You don't even know what your body is like. You actually want to learn Lai Zinzi's profound art? You'll be able to learn support spiritual techniques that don't require attributes. Alright, congratulations on successfully ascending. I can't be bothered with you. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at his phone and snorted. What? You should be satisfied now, right? You successfully got the position of the Heavenly Court's Chief Steward. System notification. Don't say weird things to me. Did all of this not work on you? Hee hee. Yi Zichen did not deny it. Then tell me, what should we do next? System notification. Get rid of the Jade Emperor's loyalty in the Heavenly Court. Increase the deity's affability towards you. Of course, it's only a matter of time before you unify the Heavenly Court with the identity of the Chief Steward. It seems like the only thing left is the underworld and the celestial realm. You really think highly of me, but you want me to touch the underworld and the celestial realm? I say, isn't that a bit too much? System notification. What's too much? Isn't our ultimate goal to unify the 3 realms and fight against the demons? Don't you want to save Xiao Yumei? Yi Zichen's expression instantly darkened when Xiao Yumei was mentioned. I wouldn't have mentioned it if you didn't. Since you could save old Manzua, why didn't you bring Xiao Yumei out as well? What exactly do you want? System notification. Isn't it better to leave her there? At the very least, your hatred towards the demons will not waver as long as she's there. Your path forward will always be to deal with the demons. You sure are vicious, Yi Zichen said darkly. System notification. There's no helping it. I'm just that selfish of a person. Do as I say. Trust me, I won't screw you over. You should know this very well, right? I do. How could I not? Yi Zichen smiled wryly. If there was no surprise, then what he heard through the great Tao of heaven's birth the other day, along with his conjecture, the system is actually, to be honest, I really don't want to admit it until that day comes. System notification. It seems like you understand it very well. Then I won't say anything more. Oh yeah, you might be a bit too weak for the upcoming situation. How about this? I'll give you a present. A present? Yi Zichen was stunned. At that moment, a red packet appeared on his screen. Chapter 620. A Melissa given by the system actually gave him a red packet out of conscience. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Although he was very angry towards the system's actions, he still accepted it due to the mentality of not taking advantage of a situation. He clicked open the red packet. Unlike other red packets, the treasure this time was not put into the treasure chest. Instead, it landed in his palm. The first thing he saw was a small black bean that looked like a myrtle pop. You sent me this crappy thing? Do you think I'm a foreigner that has never eaten Melissa before? System notification. You'll know after you eat it. What? Are you scared that I'll poison it? The system's reply was very simple. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at his phone, then chucked the Melissa into his mouth. What a joke. Lousy is scared. Yi Zichen wanted to mock the system after chucking the Melissa into his mouth. But before he could speak, he felt as if he had fallen into magma. His body was completely drenched in sweat in an instant, while bean-sized droplets of sweat continuously dripped down. The so-called sweating like rain was referring to the current situation. However, what was different was that the sweat evaporated into steam not long after it appeared. From this, it could be seen just how hot his question was. You King screw me over. Yi Zichen's phone had already landed on the bed, while he rolled off the bed and clutched his chest in pain. You're just pulling up the seedlings to help them grow, right? Xin Yuanxiang retorted in front of the white shirt man. Speaking of which, I'm rather curious about how you returned to this time. Is what you said the truth? Is the future really going to be like that? There's no need for me to lie to you. The white shirt man put his phone to the side with a smile. As for pulling up the seedlings to help them grow, I don't feel that way. It belongs to him in the first place. I merely gave him a bit of it in advance. All right, if you think there's no problem, then there's no problem. Xin Yuanxiang shrugged and walked away. Xin Yuanxiang shrugged and walked away from the side. Soon after, she looked at the Xin Yuan sword on the altar with a profound gaze. The blade had already been on the altar for a few days. She could feel the seal on the blade gradually unraveling. I still don't quite believe it. Is the future really like that? Xin Yuanxiang couldn't help but turn around, only to find that the white shirt man had already disappeared. Unable to get a definite answer, she could only sigh and look at the Xin Yuan sword. However, she clenched her fists tightly and narrowed her eyes. This time, I definitely won't let that happen. I'll follow you to the end, definitely. Waves of heat surged out of Yi Zichen's room. It wasn't that Yi Zichen hadn't closed the door, it was that the heat he emitted had already melted the door and windows. There were already many people standing dozens of meters away from his room, but none of them were able to enter his room. It was too hot, not to mention entering the house. Even if they were to come within 10 meters of the house, the scorching heat was not something that an earth immortal like them could withstand. Big brother Zichen will be fine, right? Shuelan bit her lips worriedly. Bah, can't you say something nice? Stone glared. Is your Zichen Ji the sort of person that would get into trouble? Don't worry, he'll definitely be fine. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. Big brother Zichen will definitely be fine. Shuelan apologized repeatedly, then looked worriedly and nervously at the house that was shrouded in mist. 15 minutes passed. It wasn't just Yi Zichen's house. The surrounding rooms were not spared either, and all of them were melted by his heat. More and more people surrounded Yi Zichen, but of course, they were also able to stand further and further away. Just what is Yi doing? Did he eat the sun? Stone continuously fanned himself. Even though they were standing 100 meters away, the heat still caused them to sweat profusely. I'm not sure. It's all because we're too weak, so we can't go in and take a look, Xueqi frowned. Even sky immortals are seeking death if they go in. Zhujiantasai walked over. No one knew when Zhuojinsai had walked over. Xueqi and the others immediately greeted him when they saw him. Elders, everyone in Leisure House knew that Zhuojinsai was the old tower head of the treasure tower. They did not dare to be careless at all. Little friend, Yi truly is a mysterious person. Luo Wei also walked over and raised his eyebrows. It was clear from his expression that he was very weak. City Lord Luo, you came as well, Xueqi said. It seems like your son's poison has been cured. It's all thanks to little friend Ye's guidance that my son's poison has been cured. Although Luo Wei was very weak, there was a hint of relief in his tone. Then, he looked towards Yi Zichen and shook his head. It seems like little friend, Yi truly isn't a normal person. Let's wait. We can only wait for little friend Yi to come out himself. Even I wouldn't be able to resist the heat if I went in. What? Stone exclaimed. Luo Wei is the city lord of Maple City. He is extremely strong, but even he said that I can't go in. Oh my god. Lil brother Yi couldn't have been boiled into water, right? Don't bullshit. Xueqi rolled his eyes. Xueqi rolled his eyes at him. If something really happened to brother Yi, the popularity would increase instead of decreasing. Your brain really needs some nourishment. Don't call me stupid. None of us have gone in before. Who can be sure that the heat came for brother Yi? Slap. Just as Stone was about to retort, Xuelon frowned and smacked him. Don't talk nonsense. Big brother Zichen will be fine. Stone couldn't help but shake his head with a chuckle when he saw Xuelan's angry look. Well, the words that he had just taught this girl had been returned to him by her. Since no one could go in to check out the situation, they could only wait outside. Approximately an hour passed by. The heat wave gradually disappeared from the air, and the people who had been waiting outside looked at each other a few times. It seems like the heat has weakened, Stone said. It has indeed weakened quite a bit, Xueqi nodded. But for some reason, I actually can't feel Brother Ye's aura. Could it be that I'm too weak? I can't feel it either, Luo Wei frowned. Logically speaking, as long as a person is alive, then no matter how strong they are, they would at least be able to feel a hint of life force. However, the moment the heat weakened, Luo Wei reached out with his immortal consciousness. He couldn't find Yi Zichen's aura. Could it be? Stone opened his eyes wide. Xuelon shook her head when she heard what the surrounding people said. Impossible, Big Brother Zichen will definitely be fine. With that, she ran over to Yi Zichen. A scream sounded out. This time, Xueqi and company all rushed over. When they arrived at Lil Lan's position, they saw a shriveled and lifeless Yi Zichen lying in a deep pit that seemed to have been formed when his heat melted the ground. Chapter 621. Musk-kill green smoke rose from Yi Zichen's body. At that moment, his body was completely dried up. It was as if he had entered the gates of death and was about to be burnt to a crisp. Big Brother Zichen. Big Brother. Xuelon covered her mouth, while her face was filled with unconcealable shock. The others were also shocked when they saw that. He's burnt, Stone screamed, then subconsciously reached out to touch Yi Zichen. Don't, Luo Wei stopped him. Then let's just let Yi Zichen lie here. Even if he's dead, we have to give him a proper funeral, right? Stone's eyes teared up as he spoke. How did such a good bro get burnt? What dead? Zichen Gidge isn't dead, right? As Xuelon spoke, she started to lose confidence. The person in front of her was burnt to a crisp, and she couldn't feel any life from him at all. Is he really alive? City Lord Luo, look, both Stone and Xuelon were too weak, so they might be able to turn things around. Indeed, little friend Ye's body doesn't have the slightest bit of vitality. Luo Wei sighed softly. I just checked the condition of his body. Luo Wei did not say anything, but it was clear that he was shaking his head. It's hopeless. How is that possible? Xuelon bit her lips. Luo Wei also shook his head with a wry smile, then slowly raised his right hand. Let little friend Yi die in peace. With that, he gathered his spiritual energy and swung it towards Yi Zichen. The surrounding people all lowered their heads and mourned silently. Dong. A streak of light accompanied by flower petals shot through the air, causing Luo Wei to take 2 steps back. Do you want to kill him? The person who spoke was a woman. When the surrounding people saw her, they couldn't help but be stunned by her beauty. However, at this moment, Her devastatingly beautiful face was covered in frost as she stared at Luo Wei. Yi Zichen still has a sliver of hope left in him. Your actions just now will end his life, the woman scolded. Luo Wei's expression was rather terrible when someone actually scolded him in the nose despite being the lord of the city. However, due to his character, he did not get angry. Instead, he frowned. I wonder, I'm Li Jia of the 100 Flowers Gate. Li Jia snorted coldly. Li Jia narrowed her eyes and snorted coldly. Luo Wei froze for a moment, then chuckled. I didn't think that the chief disciple of the 100 Flowers Gate would be here. However, even your sect master has to be polite when speaking to me. I did offended you just now. If City Lord Luo has a problem, then you can. Li Jia cupped her hand with a smile. But City Lord Luo, I wonder what your intentions are. Why are you trying to harm Yi Zichen? I don't believe that you, as a heaven immortal, can't sense that there's still a spark left in him. Yi Jia, Chun Jia, the one. This is Yi is comma of comma. Sister, is what you said true, comma colon, comma. Ascension, is chief disciple Li lying through your teeth? A cold light surfaced on Luo Wei's face. This is clearly a state that only demons have. He's a demon. Am I not supposed to kill him? What? Everyone was shocked. Even Li Jia's expression changed. She subconsciously took a step back and stood in front of Yi Zichen, then stared at Luo Wei in fear that he would suddenly attack. As the chief disciple of the 100 Flowers Gate, you should be on the same side as the city lord. Yet, you actually want to protect a demon who is in a state of ascension. Just what are you trying to do? Luo Wei scolded sternly, while the spiritual energy in the surroundings gradually became more berserk. Get out of the way. I must kill this demon's spy. City Lord Luo, don't forget that it was Brother Yi who saved your son. Xueqi also spoke up. Luo Wei coldly snorted. It's just a ruse. I was wondering why someone from the demon realm would attack me, but it's just a ruse. How could this brat escape and scathe from the devil domain? That was the devil domain that could contend with the god race in the past. How could he escape from the devil domain? Everything is a conspiracy. He is a person of the devil world. His current state is the best proof. Xiao Luo, are you trying to say that I'm also a spy from the devil world? Zhuo Jinsai snorted. Very suspicious, Luo Wei said, narrowing his eyes. I hope you don't blame me. Your appearance was far too sudden. I have no choice but to be on guard during these critical times. I don't blame you. Zhuo Jinsai shook his head and smiled bitterly. It was my good fortune to be able to escape from the demon realm, but it coincided with the appearance of chaos. Moreover, I have been controlled by the demon realm for so long. As the lord of a city, it doesn't matter if you suspect me. But little friend Ye's heart is tied to the three realms. It can be seen from his words and actions that he's not a member of the devil dimension at all. I told you, I have to be careful. Although I don't want to believe that Yi Zichen is someone from the demon realm. No, I have to kill him. I'd rather kill 10,000 wrongly than let one go. Sorry, I can't let you touch him. Li Jia took a step forward as the flower bracelet on her wrist gradually lit up. Her white dress fluttered in the wind. Even though the person in front of her was the lord of a city, there was not the slightest hint of fear on her face. This old man is already a bag of old bones. Since you also think that I'm from the demon world, then take me away as well. Zhuo also walked over. Not long after, Xueqi and the others stood opposite of Luo Wei. Even, Father, I can assure you that Brother Yi is definitely not someone from the devil world. Luo Yang dragged his weak body and slowly walked over from behind. He stood in front of Luo Wei and said, You've always taught me since I was young to repay the kindness of others. Brother Yi saved my life, so you can't do this. Little Yang, even you, Luo Wei extended a trembling finger. He had never imagined that he would be able to arrive in front of everyone in such a short amount of time. Fine. You're forcing me. Luo Wei's spiritual energy surged out as he used his spiritual pressure to force everyone in front of him to the ground. At the same time, He walked towards Yi Zichen. Even if all of you despise me, I still have to kill him. However, at that very moment, Yi Zichen, who'd been lying in the pit all this time, suddenly emerged from between his eyebrows. In the blink of an eye, the seed released a screen of light. Chapter 622. 3 pairs of wings. You want to reconstruct your body? Dream on. Luo Wei glared angrily as the ground beneath his feet started to crack. He leapt high up into the air and smashed his fists against the green barrier. The moment his fists touched the barrier, it was as if they were completely absorbed. However, after a short, while the absorbed energy was reflected back at the barrier, Luo Wei, who was in the air, cursed inwardly and quickly retreated bang. The remaining energy still reached him. He couldn't help but cough up a mouthful of blood, as he had already expended a large amount of his primordial spirit. At the same time, he knelt down on one knee and panted heavily. "Dad!" Luo Yang immediately rushed over, but was pushed onto the ground by Luo Wei. "Look at what you guys have done. He already reconstructed his body. You guys ruined the best chance to kill him." "Dad, Brother Yi isn't someone from the demon realm," Luo Yang couldn't help but explain. "No, you guys are still saying that he isn't." Luo Wei pointed at Yi Zichen, who was still unconscious in the air. Everyone else also looked up. Yi Zichen's body had already been reconstructed. After his old skin shed, the new skin was clear and shiny. What caused everyone to be speechless was the 3 pairs of black and white wings on his back. I once read in an ancient book that only abyssals can grow wings. The wings represent his talent. Since ancient times, there were only 3 pairs of wings recorded for the Demon Emperor back then. His wings are comparable to the Demon Emperor back then. Luo Wei's eyes were bloodshot. Luo Wei's eyes were bloodshot. When the others heard this, they were also stunned. Abyssals. Demon Emperor. Yi Zichen can't be someone from the demon race. Li Jiai's tone was filled with certainty. Li Jiai's tone was filled with indescribable certainty. She looked at the wings on Yi Zichen's back. "I'm certain." "Of course." Luo Wei squinted his eyes and snorted. "How can you be certain? Even if your esteemed master was here, she wouldn't dare to say that he isn't a demon so shamelessly. Then what can you do?" Li Jiai smiled. "Do you think you still have a chance to kill him at a time like this?" Luo Wei was silent. Luo Wei raised his head and looked at the barrier. He, Luo Wei, considered himself an outstanding talent of the 3 realms, and his strength was unparalleled. However, he was helpless against this barrier. Even if the barrier disappeared, he couldn't be certain that he was a match for Yi Zichen, who had 3 pairs of wings and was as talented as the Demon Emperor, who'd once thrown the 6 realms into chaos. Moreover, he was not in peak condition at the moment. "Ha!" The barrier shattered. An array of multicolored light fell from the sky onto Yi Zichen's head, making him look incomparably holy. However, amidst that holiness, there was also a faint black mist, which made him look somewhat demonic. He opened his eyes and stared blankly ahead with his dark pupils. A chance. Luo Wei clenched his teeth. This was his last chance to kill Yi Zichen. If they waited until he regained consciousness, it would be even more difficult to kill him. His right fist turned into a claw and swiped at Yi Zichen's throat. He had already mobilized all of his spiritual power in order to kill in one strike. Ha! Just as his hand was about to reach Yi Zichen's throat, Yi Zichen, who hadn't moved at all, grabbed his arm. "City Lord Luo, why are you doing this?" "To kill you." Luo Wei's expression darkened, and his left hand attacked from an even more tricky angle. Yi Zichen leaped backwards and put some distance between them. "City Lord Luo, I wonder how I offended you? The demon world's spy must die." With that, Luo Wei stopped strangely on the ground. At the same time, Yi Zichen also stopped. Neither of them moved. "What's going on?" Stone scratched his head in confusion. Li Jiai glanced at the sky. "They're fighting with their primordial spirits." Approximately 15 minutes later, Luo Wei, who was standing in the air, coughed up a mouthful of blood. Yi Zichen also retracted his wings with a wry smile. "City Lord Luo, is there a need for you to injure your primordial spirit like this?" "City Lord Luo, Why did you injure your primordial spirit like this? Yi Zichen took out a pill from his pocket and handed it over. Luo Wei knocked the pill out of Yi Zichen's hand. He looked up and smiled at Yi Zichen with a sinister gaze. I didn't think that a single death would actually give you such strength. I didn't expect you to gain such power just by returning to silence. I, Luo Wei, am not a weakling. Kill me or torture me. Do as you please. With that, Luo Wei lowered his guard and glared angrily at Yi Zichen. I won't kill you. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile. City Lord Luo, it's understandable that you think that I'm a demon. Those wings are the symbol of the demon race. But I'm not a demon. What a joke. Abyssals are the royalty of the demon race. Chief, he actually said that you're not. Whether you believe it or not, that's all I have to say. Yi Zichen shrugged. Yi Zichen shrugged. As for killing you, I definitely won't. City Lord Luo, please leave. Are you sure? As the City Lord of Maple City, my influence is extraordinary. I already know that you're an abyssal. I'll definitely contact my friends to deal with you when I return, Luo Wei snorted. Luo Wei narrowed his eyes and snorted. My primordial spirit is injured, and I'm no match for you, who has the blood of demons flowing through your veins. Although killing me here will expose your identity, you'll be able to explain yourself when you return. Please. Yi Zichen made a please gesture. Luo Wei, who had been preparing to self-destruct, smiled. It seems like your plan is much bigger than I thought. Don't regret letting me go today. Then, Luo Wei turned around and disappeared. Yi Zichen watched him disappear. Only then did he helplessly shake his head and descend from the sky. He picked up the jade bottle and placed it in Luo Yang's hand. This is a body recovery pill. It might not be very good for the recovery of the soul, but it's still somewhat effective. Give this pill to your father. All right. Luo Yang put the pill away, then couldn't help but say, Brother Yi, I'm not a demon. Yi Zichen turned around with a smile, then looked at Luo Yang with a sincere gaze. Actually, I don't want to have these wings. They're practically the most glaring stain in my life. But I couldn't refuse. But I can guarantee you that I'm definitely not a demon. On the contrary, I still have a deep hatred with the demon race that cannot be resolved. Perhaps I have no proof to back up my words. Let time speak the truth, and time will prove everything. I believe you, Luo Yang smiled. Luo Yang smiled faintly and said, All right, Lil Siswa Mo misses you a lot. If you have time, you should go and see her. Recently, she seems to be getting engaged to that sickly guy from the Mu family. She's really annoyed, so she talks about you every day. Zuemo, Yi Zichen was stunned. I seem to recall her mentioning the engagement with me before. I understand. I'll go and see her when I have time, Luo Yang smiled. Chapter 623. I will return. Li Jiai's expression turned slightly complicated when she heard the familiar voice. In the modern realm, this man was the one who caused her emotions to fluctuate until she came to this world. The unfamiliar environment caused her to nearly lose herself until she met her master. She felt like everything had ended and that she had to start from scratch. She naively thought that she was the only one who had transmigrated to this world, but she never expected to meet him here. Should I say that it's fate? Li Jiai smiled wryly. After a long while, she finally came back to her senses and smiled. My master is still urging me to return. The sect is still urging me to return. Let's go. With that, Li Jiai turned around and prepared to leave. Yi Zichen quickly chased after her, then smiled when he reached her side. Let me send you back. It had been a long time since they last met. Li Jiai's hands were fidgeting restlessly as she sniffed the scent of the man beside her. The atmosphere between the two of them was rather tense, but Yi Zichen broke the silence with a smile. Why did you come to Maple City? I came to take a look on the way. Li Jiai replied casually, but the truth was she had specifically asked someone for Yi Zichen's location, so she came over to take a look at him. Did everyone from Mount Supreme come out? No, there's still quite a few people inside. Mount Supreme is now open to the public, so there are often new people who want to enter in search of fortune, Li Jiai replied plainly. I see. Yi Zichen nodded, then suddenly didn't know what to say. The atmosphere turned tense once again. Li Jia kept her gaze forward the entire time. She continuously rubbed the corner of her clothes with her hands and would occasionally sneak a peek at Yi Zichen. It was as if the man beside her had become more mature and manlier. After a long silence, Li Jia suddenly asked, "How have you been since you came here?" "It's been all right. You should understand me. I'm not the sort of person who likes to lose out," Yi Zichen shrugged. "The place you were at just now is my faction leisure house. Ha! I'm going to be on equal footing with your 100 Flowers Gate in the future." "You're still so amazing," Li Jia smiled. Yi Zichen nodded. "How are you?" "I'm pretty good too. Master takes good care of me. I'm also very lucky that I actually have the talent they speak of. I'm sitting at the head seat, and the junior and senior sisters in the sect all treat me very well." Li Jia smiled gently, but as she spoke, her delicate body trembled inexplicably. When Yi Zichen noticed this, he subconsciously put his arm around her shoulders and comforted her. "It must be hard for you to accept coming to an unfamiliar environment. Don't worry, we'll go back." "Really?" Li Jia's eyes brightened. She looked up at Yi Zichen in shock. "Can we really go back?" "Of course, believe me, I will." "Junior sister." At this moment, a slightly gloomy voice sounded from behind them. He turned around and saw a man in a red and yellow robe standing in front of the 100 Flowers Gate's teleportation gate. He carried a long sword on his back and frowned as he looked ahead. "Senior Brother Ian." Li Jia nodded towards him with a smile. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in surprise. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "There are male disciples in the 100 Flowers Gate. Most of the 100 Flowers Gate are female disciples, but there's a branch that's under Martial Uncle Lu. They're all men, so they can protect us female disciples when we go out," Li Jia explained. "But I just feel like it's more dangerous for him to protect me." Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. The man also walked over with a sword on his back and frowned towards Li Jia. "Martial Uncle told you to return, but he didn't see you, so he told me to come out and get you." "Sorry to trouble you, Senior Brother Ian. I met an old friend on the way, so we chatted for a bit," Li Jia replied. "Old friend." Senior Brother Ian scanned Yi Zichen with a scrutinizing gaze. The condescending feeling caused Yi Zichen to feel very displeased. Senior Brother Ian retracted his gaze and twitched his mouth. "Since you've already seen him, then hurry back to the sect. Martial Uncle is very worried about you." "All right," Li Jia nodded. Li Jia nodded, then said reluctantly towards Yi Zichen, "Everything you said just now was true, right?" Yi Zichen naturally understood that she was referring to returning to the modern realm, so he nodded. Of course. I believe you. Let's go." Yi Zichen walked into the teleportation gate reluctantly. Senior Brother Ian walked over with a hint of disdain in his eyes. "I don't know what you promised, junior sister. She's inexperienced, so she might be tricked by your words, but she is still the chief disciple of the 100 Flowers Gate. But in the end, she is still the chief disciple of my 100 Flowers Gate. Kid, enough is my final warning to you." Bang! The sword on his back soared into the sky and left a long trail on the ground. Then he put away the sword, walked into the portal with the sword on his back, and disappeared. What the hell? When Yi Zichen returned to the leisure house, Stone and company were thinking about how to deal with the place Yi Zichen melted. When they saw him return, Stone immediately walked up to greet him, while Xueqi had a strange expression. "Easy, I did all of this." Yi Zichen scratched his head with a coy smile. Stone rolled his eyes in annoyance. "Of course it was you. Damn, you're amazing. You even burned the house down and made a huge hole in the ground." Sorry. Yi Zichen scratched his head while cursing the system in his heart. "This damn system. I gave him a myrtle biscuit to eat, and it caused such a huge situation. What's more, there are actually 3 pairs of wings on his back." At that moment, Xueqi walked over with a dark expression. He stared intently at Yi Zichen. After a long while, he finally spoke. "Brother Yi, you really have nothing to do with the demons, right?" "I really don't." Yi Zichen swore. "I can guarantee you that I'm definitely not a demon. I don't want to explain so much. If you believe me, then believe me. If you don't, I can leave." "What are you doing? We're brothers." Stone hooked his arm around Yi Zichen and Xue Qi's shoulders. Let's not talk about this anymore. Simon, let's go drink. Forget it. I still have some things to deal with. You and brother, you should drink. Xue Qi turned around and left. Before he left, he stopped and said, I believe you. Yi Zichen nodded at him, then watched him leave with a smile. I also have something to do. All right, can you arrange a room for me? I already found one for you. Lil Lan, send your Zichen Ji to his new room. Lil Lan skipped over with a giggle. Zichen Gidge, let's go. Yi Zichen laid on the bed and thought back to what had happened. What he was most concerned about was the blood zombies. Chapter 624. Magical Dragon Balls, the Zwoof family. Inside a room filled with the scent of a young girl, so Emo sat dejectedly by the window and looked at the 7 divine stones in front of her. She found the 7 god stones in the dragon carriage when she left Mount Supreme. Back then, she was quite excited about it. She clearly remembered Yi Zichen's words. Gathering all 7 beads would allow her to summon a divine dragon to fulfill any wish. Back then, when she was using it, she opened the teleportation formation, and the pearls that should have disappeared all ran into her dragon carriage. She had already thought it through. She had to keep this bead and use it to fulfill her wish. For example, when competing for the position of Pagoda Master, or when breaking off the engagement, when the time comes, the dragon god will come soaring through the clouds and fulfill her wish. Just thinking about it made him a little excited. However, dreams were plentiful, but reality was harsh. She didn't keep the 7 beads until then, but why is it like this? Didn't you say that gathering all 7 beads would summon the dragon god to fulfill his wish? I have 7 pearls now, and I've made a wish. Why doesn't the divine dragon come out? Is making Yi Zichen appear in front of me more difficult than opening the seals on Mount Biluo? So Mo pouted and looked out the window. She clearly remembered when the envoy of the dragon god appeared. There was thunder and lightning, and dark clouds covered the sky. But now, the sky was clear and boundless, and there was no sign of a divine dragon appearing. It seemed that her wish had failed. Where did that bastard go? He hasn't come to find me for so long. Doesn't she know that I'm the owner of Leisure House now? She doesn't even know to greet the owner. Tap, tap, tap. Clear footsteps sounded from outside the room. Not long after, the door was pushed open, and Tian Tian ran in with a smile. Tian Tian. After leaving Mount Supreme, Tian Tian and Lil Blue followed Zwoof Mo to the Zwoof family. During the time she had spent with Tian Tian, she had grown to like this little cutie who was always smiling. Unlike the other children she knew, Tian Tian was very obedient and sensible. Big sister Zwoof Mo, daddy's here. Zwoof Mo paused for a moment, then her expression brightened. You said Yi Zichen came? With that, Zwoof Mo began to pace around the room. The dragon god did not disappoint her, and her wish came true. She nervously bit her lips and immediately ran to the bronze mirror to look at her appearance. She then ran to Tian Tian's side and said, Tian Tian, be a good girl and bring your father to Fong Hall. I'll go out after I touch up my makeup, okay? But Dad is already at the door. With that, Yi Zichen appeared at the door with a smile and waved. Long time no see. Zwoof Mo squatted down and covered her face, then waved her hands at Yi Zichen. Gal, why are you treating me like an outsider? It's all right. Yi Zichen walked into the room and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he saw the girlish decorations. Z's, I really didn't expect the left princess's room to be rather cute. Who allowed you to enter a girl's room? Hurry up and leave. I will meet you in the reception hall in a little while. So almost squatted on the ground and muttered. Yi Zichen glanced at her. Why do you keep covering your face? It's disfigured. Daddy is so dumb. Big sister's where Mo just wants to meet you prettily. Let's go. Let big sister find us in the reception hall later. Tian Tian grabbed Yi Zichen's hand and left like a little adult. So Mo only looked up when the footsteps faded away. Actually, she would still be shocked if she walked outside, but she wanted to appear prettier in front of Yi Zichen. The Zwoof family is truly rich. As Yi Zichen walked into the city, he looked at the surrounding plants filled with spiritual energy, as well as the buildings with celestial-grade treasures. Only the treasure tower could afford this. Otherwise, no other faction would dare to be so extravagant. Yi Zichen sat on a chair in the reception hall. Approximately 15 minutes later, Zuo finally walked in slowly. "Isn't that all you've done?" Yi Zichen couldn't help but tease. Hearing that, Zuo nearly exploded in anger. Zuo, had never specially dressed up for anyone in all these years. It was fine if she didn't receive the praise she deserved, but she was even laughed at. "If you don't retract that annoying smile of yours, then you'll have to bear the consequences." Zuo clenched her teeth. Yi Zichen quickly sat up straight like a primary school student and said with a sullen expression, "What do you think? Is this all right? I don't know why, but I want to hit you even more when I see your face." So Zuo bit her lips and raised her hand, then put it down angrily. Then she put on a nonchalant expression and sat down opposite Yi Zichen. "Why did you suddenly want to come here?" "I've been very busy recently, so I don't have much time to entertain you." "Since young lady Zuo is so busy then I'll be leaving?" Zuo's hand trembled for some reason. Fortunately, Tian grabbed onto Yi Zichen's clothes at that moment. "Daddy, don't go. Tian misses you so much. Daddy knows that Tian misses me. I came here to take Tian home. Your big sister Zuo said that she's very busy and doesn't have time to entertain us, so let's not waste her time." Yi Zichen reached out and hugged Tian, then raised his eyebrows towards Zuo. "Thank you for taking care of Tian. Thank you for taking care of Tian. We won't take up more of your time." Yi Zichen, Zuo suddenly stood up from the chair. Coincidentally, Zuo walked in from outside and immediately walked over when he saw Yi Zichen. "Zichen Ji, when did you come over?" He couldn't help but gulp when he noticed Zuo's expression. Yi Zichen, do you have to trample on other people's pride to be satisfied? Fine, then I'll tell you the truth. I made a wish to see you. I don't want you to leave. Are you satisfied now?" With that, Zuo's tears flowed down. Only she knew how much a strong woman like her had hurt her pride when she said something like that. Yi Zichen was actually just joking. He didn't expect things to turn out like that. Yi Zichen quickly put Tian down, then quickly walked over with a wry smile. "Don't cry. Don't cry. I was only joking with you. Young lady Zuo is a queen. How can you cry just like that? Good girl, don't cry." Yi Zichen wiped away her tears and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. "Oh yeah, you said that you made a wish for me to come. Who did you make a wish with? It actually worked so well." Chapter 6:25. Parangon's Dragon Ball. Yi Zichen was a bit confused. He was just joking around back then, but Zuo really took it seriously. What's more, summoning the Shinran required 7 Dragon Balls. Where would she find them? "Then I'm here because you summoned a divine dragon for me." Yi Zichen shrugged. "I didn't see the dragon god, but I made a wish and you did come." Yi Zichen didn't say anything and merely raised his eyebrows with a smile. "Then you're pretty amazing. You actually managed to collect 7 Dragon Balls by yourself." "No, when I came on Mount Supreme, the 7 pearls were already in my carriage." Zuo blinked as she replied. Yi Zichen paused, then raised his eyebrows. "Are you talking about the godstones I used to open Mount Biluo?" Yu Lao had asked him for the divine stone more than once. At that time, he thought that the black-robed man had taken it away. It seemed like the godstone was still with Zuo. "Yeah, it's the rock that opened Mount Biluo's restrictions," Zuo nodded. "Is the stone still with you?" "I don't know. It was still there earlier. I wonder if it'll still be there after I make a wish." Zuo pursed her lips. "I'll go take a look. If it's still there, I'll bring it back for you." "Yes." Zuo walked out of the living room. Yi Zichen sat down on a chair, while Zuo raised his eyebrows in curiosity. "What's going on?" "Big brother Yi, you just told my sister about the Dragon Ball. What's the wish fulfillment?" "Kids shouldn't care so much." Yi Zichen crossed his legs. "Why didn't the two of you go out to host the auction?" "What? Do you have off-season auctions as well? You think I don't want to go?" Zuo twitched his mouth and sat down on the chair beside Yi Zichen. He grabbed an apple from the fruit platter and took a bite. "My sister is getting engaged to Mu Qingtian, and the Pagoda Master election is just around the corner. I have to stay at home to accompany my sister. Otherwise, what if she gets bullied?" "Oh, you want to eat a black knight?" Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile. He could tell that the siblings' relationship was pretty good. Hee hee. Zhuoliang also scratched his head and laughed. You're lucky that the stone is still here. At that moment, Zmo walked over with 7 glowing stones and placed them on the table. Zhuoliang's attention was attracted by the stone the moment it appeared. He stared at it and couldn't help but raise his brows. This is the stone that can grant wishes. Let me tell you, this stone is very powerful. Zhuoliang smirked and started to brag to Zhuoliang. As for what she was bragging about, it was what Yi Zichen had said to scare her. The divine dragon died in battle, but his soul is still in the human world. In order to benefit future generations, the divine dragon left behind 7 pearls. Gathering these 7 pearls can summon the divine dragon into the world. The appearance of the divine dragon could be said to have shaken the heavens and earth. Due to its strength in the past, its appearance could even change the laws of heaven. At that time, you can make a wish to him, and he will help you realize it. Look at those 7 pearls. They are the 7 dragon pearls left behind by the legendary divine dragon. Zhuoliang spoke mysteriously, treating the nonsense as if it were real. Zhuoliang also treated the nonsense as if it were real. Yi Zichen couldn't help but shake his head with a smile as he looked at the siblings, then took out his phone to find Yu Lao. Sky Sovereign, what brings you here? Yu Lao's message appeared on the screen. Not long later, he added, Oh wow, look at what I'm saying. You're the chief steward of the cabinet now. You came to inspect the work. Wait a moment, I'll report to you. Yi Zichen couldn't help but frown. Don't be so fake with me. I'm looking for you to return the divine stone to you. Divine stone? Yu Lao, who was in the marriage room, frowned and couldn't help but think. Didn't Sky's sovereign lose the divine stone? Why did he suddenly say that he wants to return it? He can't be wanting to take back the shares he gave me, right? Yi Zichen sent another message when he saw that Yu Lao didn't reply. Do you want it or not? Didn't you say that the divine stone is an item left behind from the primordial era and that you took a long time to find it? You were crying when I lost it. Why don't you want it now? Sky's sovereign, if you return the divine stone to me, will you take back my shares? Yu Lao replied, Of course. Aren't those shares to compensate you for the divine stone you lost? We already said that you'll return the shares to me when you find the divine stone. Didn't you agree as well? Then I don't want the divine stone. Yu Lao shook his head like a rattle drum. Although the divine stone is a treasure left behind by the God realm, it does contain the secrets of the heavens. However, he did not manage to find out anything about the stone even after having it in his hands for several thousand years. Compared to a few stones that could only be used as a foundation for setting up spiritual formations, he would rather have the shares of the Heavenly Court's industrial park. Yi Zichen was speechless. Don't try to act shamelessly with me. Sky Sovereign, let me tell you, money is just a material object. You are a person of high morals, so you shouldn't be too attached to these worldly objects. However, the divine stone is different, it is a divine item. If you keep it by your side, you might be able to see through the secrets of the heavens. That is a great fortune. Yu Lao was originally a rather nice old man, but ever since he got to know Yi Zichen, he learned how to brainwash people. However, as the ancestor of the world of brainwashing, Yi Zichen merely smiled. The divine stone has been in your hands for quite some time. What did you find out? Yu Lao laughed dryly. This little deity's talent is lacking and cannot compare to Sky Sovereign's great fortune. It is a normal item in this little deity's hands, but it's different in yours. Yu Lao, you've grown. Yi Zichen shook his head with a wry smile. Fine, if you don't want it, then stay with me. Oh yeah, how has the Heavenly Court Corporation been doing recently? Our Heavenly Court Corporation can be said to be thriving. Although the Heavenly Court has been a bit chaotic recently, it has not affected our corporation. All right, when you have time, send me a report of the corporation's profits. Go do what you need to do. Oh yeah, don't forget your job. No problem, I'll send it to you tonight. Yi Zichen closed the chat with Yu Lao, then felt 2 heated gazes staring straight at him. You guys, big brother Yi, can you show me your dragon pearl? Zhuoliang's eyes were filled with anticipation. It seemed that he was also fooled. This thing is just to fool your sister. It's not a Dragon Ball at all. Only your sister would be stupid enough to believe it. Yi Zichen fiddled with the divine stone and chucked it into Zhuo Liang's arms. I'm just taking a look. Yi Zichen took the divine stone, then placed it in the shape of the Big Dipper, just like Zhuo Mo said. It really is as miraculous as what my sister said. If wishes can really be made, let Mu Chengtian come to my house. As soon as he finished speaking, a cry of alarm came from outside the hall. Why are you here? Chapter 626. Mu Chengtian's visit. The sickly Mu Chengtian's countenance was as pale as a sheet of paper. Beside him, there was an elderly man who looked like an old butler, supporting him as he slowly crossed the threshold that was only 10 centimeters tall. However, Mu Chengtian had to expend a great deal of effort to cross this threshold that could be easily passed by an ordinary person. Why are you here? Mu Chengtian's chest heaved up and down as he pointed at Yi Zichen and cursed angrily. Zhuo Liang, who saw this scene, was completely dumbfounded. He stared blankly at the shimmering golden stone on the ground and kept swallowing his saliva. It really came true. Zhuo Liang. Zhuo Mo bit her lips and cursed. You made a wish just now, right? Zhuo Liang smiled coyly when he saw Zhuo Mo's expression. Didn't Big Brother Yi say that it's not easy to use? I was just thinking about giving it a try. Who would have thought? Then can't you try something else? Zhuo Mo clenched her teeth. I already told Zhuo Liang so much, yet he still made such a wish. Isn't he just purposely trying to annoy me? Zhuo Liang scratched his head and laughed dryly. A hint of anger surfaced on Mu Chengtian's pale face after he was ignored. Are you guys treating me like I don't exist? So what if we're treating you like you don't exist? Zhuo Mo frowned. Who told you to come to the Zhuo household? We don't have time to entertain you. Miss Zhuo, your attitude is a bit too much, the old housekeeper said. Is this a place for you to speak? Zhuo Mo squinted her eyes and snorted. To put it nicely, you're Mu Chengtian's teacher, but aren't you his full-time housekeeper? Think about yourself before you speak to me. All right? Lil Mo, what are you doing? Mu Chengtian's eyes turned into peach blossoms the moment he saw Zhuo Mo's beautiful face. His tone also turned gentle. Elder Zheng is my teacher, Zhuo Mo smiled. I can't be bothered to talk so much with you guys. Just what did you come to the Zhuo household for? If you're here for my father, then sorry, he won't be in the manor these few days, Zhuo Mo snorted. Didn't I come for the engagement? Mu Chengtian smiled. I've already brought the betrothal gifts. They're right outside your manor. The engagement is in 3 days as well. You're too early. Also, I haven't decided to get engaged with you yet. Don't call me Lil Mo. Zhuo Mo's tone was unyielding. Mu Chengtian stuttered for a long time without being able to say anything. The elder beside him snorted. Miss Zhuo Mo, your tower heads was pearl after all. You should watch your words. Your every word and action represents the face of the treasure tower. Being so unreasonable will only make others think that there's something wrong with your upbringing. You have no right to criticize my upbringing, so Mo snorted. Mo of Qingcheng, Zui as he as I, as I zu as long as mu of. Mu of as mu as he could have of as mu, as of mu. Mu of as of. Although the Mu family and the Zhuo family were old friends, he couldn't visit the two families often because of his health. He had only met Zhuo Mo by chance. As for Zhuo Qingcheng, he had never seen her before. May I know who this young lady is? Mu Chengtian's Adam's apple bobbed up and down as a charming smile appeared on Zhuo Qingcheng's face. This must be my sister's husband, young Master Mu. It's really better to meet you in person than to hear about you. Young Master Mu might not have seen me before, but I am the second daughter of the Zhuo family, Zhuo Qingcheng. My sister has always been strong since she was young. Young Master Mu is going to suffer in the future. Zhuo Qingcheng, why do I always bump into you at times like this? Zhuo Mo squinted her eyes and smiled. It seems like the lesson from last time wasn't enough. Zhuo Qingcheng's shoulders trembled when she mentioned the lesson from last time. Then, she walked to Mu Chengtian's side and brushed her finger across his cheek. She pursed her lips and smiled. I just want to see my future brother-in-law. If you don't like it, then I'll leave. With that, Zhua Qingcheng swayed her hips and left. When she reached the door, she stopped and gave both Mu Changtian and Yi Zichen a flirtatious look before disappearing from everyone's sight once again. My eyes are going to pop out if I keep looking. Seeing Yi Zichen's gaze, Zhua Mo couldn't help but get angry. Yi Zichen came back to his senses and smiled coyly, then noticed that Mu Changtian was about to drool. It seems like your husband's condition is worse than mine. Only then did Zhua Mo cast her gaze towards him and smiled coldly. Lil Mo, don't overthink it. Mu Changtian hurriedly turned around and wiped the drool off his face. I don't think too much about it. If you like Zhua Qingcheng, then get engaged to her. I think she seems to be quite interested in you. The two of you would be a perfect match. Zhua Mo shrugged with a smile. But if you still want to cling to me, then forget it. To put it bluntly, it's impossible for us to be together. Take back the betrothal gifts you brought. I will personally visit your Mu family on the day of the engagement. Miss Zhua, I feel like you might have made a mistake. The elder beside Mu Qingtian smiled. The old man beside Mu Qingtian smiled indifferently. We came here because Tower Head Zhua discussed it with our master. They also looked at the date and felt that 3 days later is not good, so they brought it forward to tomorrow. Say that again. Zhua Mo frowned. It's fine even if I say it 10,000 times. Tower Head Zhua discussed it with our master. What do you think, Miss Zhua? The elder chuckled. Creak. Zhua Mo's expression darkened, and she clenched her fist tightly. Butler. Not long later, a middle-aged man appeared outside the door. So let out a long sigh, then pointed at Mu Changtian and the elder with a frown. Send them off. Young miss, this is... The butler revealed a hesitant expression. So Mo squinted her eyes and snorted. What? Are my words no longer effective? Young miss, they're the Mu family, but this is the Zhua family, not the Mu family. Don't make me say it again. Send them off. Zhua Mo roared angrily. The elder raised his hand and pointed. You dare to point at me? Zhua Mo's expression turned cold. Then she smiled. I changed my mind. She turned around, fluttered her long eyelashes, and glanced at Yi Zichen, who was standing behind her and watching the show. Yi Zichen immediately felt like something was off when he noticed her gaze. What? Let's discuss something. Zhua Mo squinted her eyes and giggled at him. Zhua Mo squinted her eyes and giggled at him. Yi Zichen nodded. Go ahead. Zhua Mo giggled. All right. Chapter 6:27. I told you not to go. Trying to set me up. That was the only thought Yi Zichen could think of. That old man was Mu Qingtian's teacher. No matter what, this sickly invalid was still a member of the Mu clan. Even if you don't look at the monk, look at the Buddha's face. Even if you beat a dog, you have to look at its owner. Mo, on the other hand, was the daughter of the treasure tower, so it was fine for her to scold the old man. If he, a little white man, went up and got beaten up, the Mu family would definitely come looking for trouble with him. Yi Zichen expressed that he wasn't scared. He just didn't want to cause trouble. Miss Zhua, you really know how to joke. The old man's eyes were filled with disdain. Putting aside the fact that this kid is no threat to me, you really shouldn't have dragged an outsider into this. The Mu family is not a family that just anyone can afford to offend. I know, right? Yi Zichen nodded silently on the side. So Mo smiled, then walked to his side. Let me ask you, will you help? Zhua Mo's tone was completely flat, but her calm gaze caused Yi Zichen's heart to race despite himself. He really wanted to refuse, but the words of refusal were at the tip of his tongue. Since you didn't reject me, then do it. I believe you can deal with him. With that, Zhua Mo retreated to the back and gave up the middle spot. At this point, Yi Zichen had no choice but to shrug. Old man, hurry up and bring this sickly Mu Changtian away. I don't want to fight with you. It'll hurt our friendship. Who are you calling sick? Say it again if you have the guts. Mu Qingtian was so angry that his whole body was trembling. Phew! Yi Zichen didn't argue with him, and merely blew on him. Mu Qingtian hurriedly grabbed the old man's arm. He looked like he was on the verge of collapsing. If it wasn't for the old man beside him, he might have been sent flying. Facts speak louder than words. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth, then made an inviting gesture. Stop messing around. Young ladies will already set it like that. Isn't it embarrassing for you to stay here, shamelessly? Zheng Qian. Mu Chantian exclaimed in a low voice. The elder beside him nodded indifferently and put him to the side. This concerns the face of our Mu family. If we leave just like that, where will we put our face? Zheng Qian turned around indifferently. His green robes rustled in the wind, and his turbid eyes shone with a sharp light. It's fine if it's Miss Swa. We'll be a family in the future, but this hothead, she slowly walked over while twisting her neck. Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort in his heart. What did I do to them? I didn't say anything from the beginning to the end. Why are you blaming me now? She subconsciously glanced at Zhuo, only to realize that the girl was sitting on a chair and smiling at her, as if she was watching the show. Then he looked at Zheng Qian, who was glaring at him like a tiger. Mother of Asterisker, do you really think I'm a pushover? Don't blame me for not warning you. If you take another step forward, you'll have to bear the consequences. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and looked forward. Zheng Qian laughed like he had heard the funniest joke in the world. I do want to see what you can do to me. Boom. The spiritual pressure of a sky immortal was released. The terrifying pressure caused the Zhuo family's butler to speak up. Mr. Zheng, no matter what, this is the Zhuo family's territory. Mr. Zheng, no matter what, this is the Zhuo family's territory. It isn't appropriate to make a move, right? This youngster insulted the Mu family's young master. If we don't teach him a lesson, then where will the Mu family's face go? Zheng Qian snorted coldly, then turned to Yi Zichen. If you have the heart to repent, then apologize to my family's young master. I can let you go. You have to kneel down and apologize. Mu Qingtian added. I'll say it again. If you take another step forward, you'll have to bear the consequences. Yi Zichen smiled nonchalantly. Zheng Qian's expression darkened. Arrogant. Yi Zichen, who had been standing on the spot, couldn't help but shake his head with a smile. You truly won't give up until you hit the wall. At the same time, his body moved. Bang, bang, bang. In just a few breaths of time, Zheng Qian's entire face swelled up like a pig's head, while blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. Yi Zichen grabbed him by the collar, took a few steps towards the door, and threw him out along the wall. However, all of this happened in the blink of an eye. How many times have I told you? You just won't listen. Now, behave yourself. Yi Zichen urged Zheng Qian, then walked back with his hands in his pockets. The Zhuo family's butler was completely shocked. Even with his strength, he was unable to see how the young man attacked. More importantly, that was a sky immortal level expert. He was dealt with just like that. Grandson, what are you still waiting here for? Are you waiting for me to feed you? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at Mu Qingtian. Then, like a rabbit that had its tail stepped on, Yi Zichen ran away with a weird cry. F***. I couldn't tell that he was sick at all when he was running away. It seems like you've gotten stronger after not seeing you for a while. Zhuo pursed her lips with a smile. Zhuo pursed her lips into a smile. Yi Zichen nodded noncommittally. I guess so, but you sure screwed me over. This time, I'm at odds with the Mu family. I just established my little faction, but I already made an enemy like this. I'm really speechless. Are you saying that you don't have enough enemies? Zhuo smiled meaningfully. Yi Zichen did not comment on that. He shrugged without saying anything. At that moment, the Zhuo family's butler walked over. Young lady, the Mu family, don't mind him. Never mind. Help me send a message to the Mu family later. Don't worry about him. Forget it. Help me send a message to the Mu family later. Tell them that I don't like that Zheng Qian. If they feel unhappy, then tell them to come and find me. Zhuo's tone was completely calm. Zhuo's tone was indifferent. The old steward could only smile wryly. All right, in the end, I still have to deal with this sort of thing. After the butler left the living room, Zhuo spoke up. Sis, it's not good for us to be beaten up, right? Sis, it's not good for us to be beaten. Dad will definitely scold you when he comes back. It's all your fault. Zhuo turned around and bit her lips. She raised her hand and hit his head. If you didn't make that wish, would things have turned out like this? I didn't expect it to be that amazing. Zhuo muttered. To be honest, even Yi Zichen felt like the stones were a bit amazing. Back then, he had said that he was only trying to make Zhuo's wish come true. But after what happened one after another, his wish to open Mount Biluo's restrictions had come true. His wish to come to the Zhuo family had come true. Her wish for Mu Changtian to come to the Zhuo family had come true. Yi Zichen couldn't help but squat down and look at the 7 glowing stones. Zhuo Liang and Zhuo Imo also came over. Was he really making a wish? Yi Zichen didn't believe it at all. If you have the guts, ask the great sacred emperor equaling heaven to add me as a friend. The great sacred emperor equaling heaven was the most mysterious existence in the underworld. He had never seen him appear in the group, ever since he came into contact with the underworld. If even the most impossible thing could be realized, Yi Zichen felt that, ding-dong. Yi Zichen's hand trembled. Chapter 628. Personal favoritism. Brother Yi, where did you find these stones? They're so powerful. Zhuo Liang, who was squatting near the rock, looked at Yi Zichen with sparkling eyes. Yi Zichen didn't have the time to care about him. He was thinking about whether he should take out his phone or not. What would he do if the great sacred emperor equaling heaven really did add him as a friend? Brother Yi, I picked it up by the roadside. Yi Zichen called out in annoyance with a frown, then sat down on a nearby chair and took out his phone. Gulp. He would have to face it sooner or later. He opened the social media app. When he saw that there was no friend request, Yi Zichen's heart suddenly relaxed. He heaved a long sigh of relief, but inexplicably felt a little disappointed. Sure enough, these stones couldn't fulfill wishes. It seemed like everything before was just a coincidence. As for the notification just now, it was a message from Thunder God. Sky Sovereign, I have something I would like to consult you about. He had yet to use his authority as the chief of the cabinet, but now he had to help the Jade Emperor manage the internal affairs. Of course, since he was in this position, he naturally had to do things. In the past, Tai Bai Jinxing might have been cleaning up the Jade Emperor's mess every day. Sigh, it's fine if I don't think about it. Thinking about it, I haven't contacted that old man Tai Bai for a long time. He didn't take the initiative to contact him, and he didn't look for him either. He didn't know what this guy was busy with. Tell me what's wrong. Celestial Sovereign, it's like this. In recent years, some of the equipment of the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals have been damaged. I want to ask you for some military funds to replace the equipment of the soldiers, Thunder God replied. Sure, but if you need money, you should find the God of Fortune. What's the point of coming to me? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Indeed, we have to look for the God of Fortune of the 5 paths, but aren't you the head chief? I have to report this to you and ask for your approval. Otherwise, even if I went, the door would be shut in my face, Thunder God replied with a bitter smile. That's fine. How much money do you want? Go and find the God of Fortune. Tell him that I gave it to you. Take a screenshot of our chat and show it to them. If they don't believe you, tell them to come find me. Yi Zichen answered without thinking. God of Thunder chuckled, gave Yi Zichen 50 intimacy points, then ran off to find the God of Fortune. You still need to look for me for such a trivial matter? Yi Zichen closed the chat, then shook his head with a smile. But before he could put away his phone, Money God sent him a message. Damn it, are they really efficient? They came looking for me just like that? Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned, then opened the chat window. Sky Venerable, have you agreed to allocate funds to Thunder God? Yes, what's wrong? Yi Zichen sent the message over. The heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals are important existences that protect the heavenly court's lands. Isn't it normal to tell them to dress better? Besides, aren't you on good terms with Thunder God? Why are you looking for me for this? Of course I'm willing to allocate funds, but I need a lot of approval documents to allocate funds. It's troublesome. Fortune God sighed and said, We are the 5 paths gods of wealth. Although I am the main god of wealth, but the financial power is shared among the 5 of us. You should have heard of 1 civil and 1 military. That brat Wenchang monarch doesn't get along with me, and I can't be bothered to look at his sour face. That's simple. You'll be in charge of the finances in the future. Then, take our chat records and show it to that Wenchang monarch. If he's not happy, then tell him to come and find me. Oh yeah, don't just allocate funds to Thunder God. If he comes to find me, then the other general soldiers might have to change their equipment as well. Just allocate all of them. Yi Zichen waved his hand. Seeing that, Fortune God was delighted. He had been competing with Wenchang Monarch for many years, and now, he finally had an ending. He couldn't help but think to himself, I finally found a team. All right, Sky Venerable, this lowly one will go and do it right now. Come to the heavenly court when you have time. I think I'll give you a huge welcoming feast. Go, go, Yi Zichen smiled. Perhaps it's a bit unfair to Wenchang Monarch for me to deal with it like that. But who asked him to not be familiar with me? No matter what, Zhao Gongming has a very good relationship with the people around me. Zhao Gongming can be counted as one of the earliest people to establish a relationship with me. What's more, their intimacy level is as high as 600, which is at the level of worship. Yi Zichen wasn't afraid of Zhao Gongming betraying him. Even if Zhao Gongming wanted to betray him, with the system in hand, any trace of him would appear. I'll just leave him. Ding dong. In less than 10 minutes, Yi Zichen received a friend request on his phone. If there are no surprises, Wenchang Monarch has added you as a friend. Accept. Sky Venerable, when we, the 5 paths gods of fortune, were in office, Tai-Bai Jinxing specially gave us 5 authority in order to maintain balance. It was also to prevent someone from acting alone when there are problems and to discuss with each other. You just took office. Why did you give all the authority to Zhao Gongming? He didn't even greet or be polite and directly got to the point. Very good, very domineering. Yi Zichen expressed that he wasn't afraid of this sort of person. Is there a problem? What do you mean there's no problem? You're just messing around, Wenchang Monarch said angrily. Emperor Wenchang said fiercely. Do you wish to break the balance that Tai-Bai Jinxing wants to maintain? What's more, I heard that you're very close with Zhao Gongming. You're already helping the people around you right after taking office. Aren't you being a bit nepotistic? Ziziz, as expected of the Wenchang Monarch of Fortune, he is indeed full of witty remarks. But what's the use of that? Lil One, you have to obey the team's arrangements. Tai-Bai Jinxing is an old senior that I respect, but he has already left the Heavenly Court. Recently, the Heavenly Court has been very chaotic. The Jade Emperor gave me the authority. That is because he trusts me. I naturally have my own ideas on how to deal with it. Your nepotism is a bit too much. But all right, this sovereign still has a lot of things to deal with. Zhao Gongming will be in charge of the finances from now on. Help him properly. That's all. Slap. Thus, Yi Zichen deleted Wenchang Monarch from his friend list. Favoritism. He was right. He was indeed a favoritist. What? I don't like it. Hold it in. What's more, it's not like I'm the only one who got my authority taken away. Isn't it making me look amazing? Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Wenchang Monarch decreased by 100. Current intimacy level, 0. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Wenchang Monarch decreased. Current intimacy level, cold. Decreased intimacy level. Are you trying to scare me? Yi Zichen chuckled, then directly sent a message to Zhao Gongming. Zhao Gongming, that Wenchang Monarch was disrespectful to me just now. Strip him of his position as the Wenchang Monarch of Fortune and tell him to go home. Let's see how he behaves in the future. If he's remorseful, then let him retire. Find someone to fill the empty spot. With that, Yi Zichen sent an announcement in the group. System notification. Because Wenchang Monarch was dissatisfied with the team's assignment, he talked back to his superior with an extremely nasty attitude. Thus, Wenchang Monarch is stripped of his position as the Wenchang Monarch of Fortune. Due to his contributions to the Heavenly Court, he will be kept as a celestial to be observed. Bang! The moment Wenchang Monarch saw the message, he kicked the golden toad in front of him onto the ground. Chapter 629. God Yi Zichen did not care about Wenchang Emperor's anger. Yi Zichen felt rather happy when he saw the announcement in the group and the comments below. It's so nice to have power. I can deal with whoever I don't like. Yi Zichen ignored the other silence for Wenchang Emperor, then put his phone back into his pocket and set his gaze on the divine stone in the room. Sis, do you think it will come true if I make another wish? Zhuoyang blinked as he looked at the divine stone. How would I know? How about you try? But don't make that kind of wish that's asking for a beating, okay? So Mo waved her fist in front of his eyes. Definitely not, Zhuoyang nodded solemnly. He crossed his arms and muttered with his eyes closed, "I want a glass of water. I like a glass of water." Whoosh! Zhuoliang grabbed the glass with wide eyes, then looked down at the divine stone helplessly. Zhuoliang grabbed the cup with widened eyes and looked at the god stone below helplessly. "Give me another glass of water." Zoom! Another glass of water appeared out of nowhere. Sis! Zhuoliang's eyes were filled with shock. So Mo bit her lips and looked at the glass in his hand. "I want it to rain outside." Rumble. The clear sky was suddenly filled with dark clouds that covered the entire sky. The sudden appearance of the dark clouds completely shocked the onlookers who didn't know what was going on. Yi Zichen was actually even more confused. What's going on? Aren't wishes supposed to be coincidences? But Zhuo and Zhuoliang's wishes didn't seem to be coincidences. What's more, the 2 glasses of water that Zhuoliang gave him completely appeared out of nowhere. "Oh my God!" Zhuoliang couldn't help but exclaim. He continuously gulped as he looked at the divine stone on the ground, then looked up at Yi Zichen. "Big brother Yi, where did you find this divine item?" Yi Zichen also scratched his head and squatted down in front of the divine stone with him. He looked at the divine stone in shock. Could this divine stone really have the ability to make wishes? But why didn't it come true when I asked the great sacred emperor equaling heaven to find me? Yi Zichen suddenly thought of something. He crossed his arms and closed his eyes. "I want Xiao Yumei to return to my side from the demon realm. Are you guys sick?" Right at this moment, a furious roar rang out from within the room. "Do you guys think that I'm a donkey? Thinking about this and that? Are you guys trying to tire me to death?" Everyone looked up and saw a man who looked like Aladdin sitting cross-legged in the room. His head was wrapped in a white cloth, and his thick, straight eyebrows were raised high. The 3 of them looked at each other in confusion. Then Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "You are Aladdin's magic lamp? What Aladdin's magic lamp?" "I'm God," the unibrow man replied arrogantly as he floated in the air. "Supreme God." "God," Yi Zichen muttered. "Yes, I am God," the unibrow man said. "Ugh, if you're God, why did you come to the immortal region? Shouldn't you be up there?" Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "Ahem." The unibrow man's expression changed. "I've come to the lower realms to take a look and see if there's anything wrong with this junior." As he spoke, Yi Zichen noticed that his gaze lingered on the 7 divine stones. Yi Zichen smiled calmly, then couldn't help but ask, "There's no problem. You're supreme God. How could there be a problem with us mortals?" "Humph." The unibrow man smiled arrogantly. Yi Zichen also raised his eyebrows. "I wonder what great deity's name is. Pray, Wish God." Yi Zichen cupped his hands and bowed respectfully. "Wish God, your divine power seems to be able to grant the wishes of all living beings, right?" "Yes." "Then Yi Zichen's intentions were simple. Since you could fulfill the wishes of all living beings, why stop when it came to me? I'm tired." With that, the bar-browed man was about to enter the 7 divine stones. "Don't make any more wishes to me in the near future. I need a rest. Wish God, please wait." Just as he was about to enter, Yi Zichen raised his hand and stopped him. His eyes were filled with nervousness. "You are the supreme God. It doesn't matter if you don't fulfill my wish. Can you tell me how she is now? Do you think that I know everything?" The bar-browed man frowned, then shook his head with a sigh. "She is very well and will be very well in the future. She has a benefactor helping her in her life. I wonder which benefactor. I can't tell you." With that, the man entered the divine stones. At the same time, the shimmering divine stones also dimmed. However, Yi Zichen's worried heart finally calmed down after receiving a god's affirmation. However, at that very moment, he suddenly remembered that there was something he didn't ask. "Hamba, great deity, don't rest. I still have more questions to ask." Great deity, great deity," Yi Zichen shouted towards the divine stones. But the divine stones did not respond at all. "He must be resting. Look, the stones aren't shining anymore," so Mo said. Yi Zichen shouted a few more times, but when he saw that there was no response, he let out a long sigh. "I didn't expect a god to be hiding in these stones." Zhuoliang blinked as he looked at the divine stones that were no different from normal stones. then looked at the cup of water in his hand. 2 good wishes turned out to be 2 glasses of water. For a moment, he couldn't help but beat his chest and stamp his feet, feeling vexed. "Who was the person you asked about just now?" Tian ran over with a giggle and said, "It's Mommy. I just made a wish for Mommy. I hope she'll be safe and come home to see me soon after she's done with her work." With that, a hint of sadness surfaced on Tian's face. Tian hasn't seen Mommy for a long time. Tian misses her so much, Tian mumbled. Yi Zichen couldn't help but feel a lump in his throat. He hugged Tian and said, "Mommy will be back very soon. Mommy will be back soon, Tian. Of course, Tian will be good. Tian has already grown up." Tian nodded obediently. Yi Zichen hugged her for a long time before putting her down, then rubbed his temples with his right hand as he sat on the chair. Although he knew that Xiao Yumei would be fine, she was still a thorn in his side. "Zuemo, can you arrange a room for me? I'm a bit tired and want to rest." Yi Zichen continuously rubbed his head. When Zuemo saw his pained expression, she forcefully swallowed the question she was about to ask. "I've already prepared it for you, Lil Liang, and I will send you over." "All right, thank you." The 3 of them left the room side by side, but they forgot that the divine stones were still on the floor. Not long after they left, a figure appeared outside the living room. Chapter 630. Come to ask for forgiveness, Brother Yi, your godstone. Meanwhile, in Yi Zichen's courtyard, Zuoliang carefully handed the 7 ordinary-looking stones to Yi Zichen like they were treasures. "I really didn't lose it." Yi Zichen put the divine stone away into the treasure chest with a smile. Zuoliang pursed his lips with a smile. "Of course, in our Zhuo clan, even an ancient divine artifact wouldn't be lost. Where did you throw it? Come back in half a month, and it will still be there." Awesome. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, then ignored Zuoliang's words. "Why don't I see your sister? My father called me away," Zuoliang said helplessly. "Yesterday, we were beaten up by the Mu family. Although my father dotes on my sister, he still needs to understand the situation. Don't worry, there will be no problem." Yi Zichen's expression darkened. "It seems like I was the one who hit him. Zuomo would definitely be fine. Even if the Mu family came, they wouldn't be able to do anything to her because of the treasure tower. But the spearhead would be pointed at him." At that moment, Zuomo and a man in a silk robe walked in from the courtyard's arched door. The man was of medium build with a small mustache on his chin. His eyes were bright and full of expression, and one could faintly feel a sharp glint in them. Zuomo was holding his arm. She was wearing a princess dress, and her already pretty face was covered in blush. Her eyes were like water, but her expression was a little ugly. She pouted her pink lips, looking very unhappy. "Dad," Zuoliang greeted with a cheeky smile. Yi Zichen was slightly stunned. He didn't expect the very young man in front of him to actually be the master of the treasure tower, Zuohongda. "Little Liang." Zuohongda nodded, then looked towards Yi Zichen with a smile. "Little friend Yi, we meet again." Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned. These words, could it be that they had met before? "Little friend Yi, you don't need to think too much. You've never seen me before. It's just that I happened to see you once when I went to Maple City to pick up Lil and Mo. Little friend, you was only of the sky immortal level back then. But I could tell from your face that you were no ordinary person. Now that I see you today, you are already of the sky immortal level. I heard that you were easily defeated by Zhang Qian. You are truly amazing." Zuohongda smiled warmly. Yi Zichen quickly replied with a smile. "Tower head Zuo is too kind. Tower Lord Zuo is too kind." Zuohongda chuckled. "No matter what, the Mu clan is a peak force in the outer immortal region. Their foundation far exceeds your imagination. Even if my treasure tower were to face them, I wouldn't dare to say that I could firmly suppress them. Little friend Yi, do you understand what I mean? Moreover, it's not easy for the treasure tower to survive. I admire you, but that doesn't mean I have high hopes for you." "Dad." Zuohongda turned around, and his sharp eyes flashed. "Zuo Zichen," Yi said. Zuo said. Things are different now. Father might have supported you in the past and even felt gratified by your strength. But it's not like you don't know the recent situation. Mu Yi Chun. There seems to be a story behind all of this. Little friend Yi sorry. Zwahonda looked up with a smile. Zwahonda raised his head and smiled faintly. But I have a presumptuous request here. I wonder if little friend Yi... Dad, I forced Yi Zichen to hit Zheng Qian. It has nothing to do with him. Lilmo let go of Zwahonda's hand and stood in front of Yi Zichen. Lilmo, don't mess around, Zwahonda frowned. Yi Zichen smiled, grabbed Zwamo's shoulder and shook his head, then looked up at Zwahonda with a shrug. You want to take me to beg for forgiveness? Little friend, please understand me. I'm also forced to do this. However, I will guarantee your safety. Even though he was begging, Zwahonda did not show any apologetic or pleading attitude. In the end, he did not take Yi Zichen seriously at all. Dad, Zwamo frowned. Zwahonda also snorted, shut up. Zwamo was stunned. Zwahonda had never been so fierce in her life. She looked at the man in front of her for a long time. She couldn't understand. It has only been a few days. Why did my father change so much? He wasn't like this just a week ago. Zwahonda bit his lips tightly and ran away. Only then did a trace of pity appear on his face. But he still kept a straight face and shouted sternly, don't worry. However, he still shouted, go and capture the young lady. Whoosh. Yi Zichen felt the space around him distort, then faintly saw two figures chasing after Zwamo. Yi Zichen's heart skipped a beat. I didn't expect there to be two experts hiding around me. Little friend Yi, what do you think? Of course. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. But can you tell me why you're so afraid of the Mu family? No matter what, the Mu family and the Zwa family are both top forces of the outer immortal region. Zwahonda sighed, then shook his head with a wry smile. That's none of your business. You just have to come with me and apologize. I can promise you here that I will definitely take care of your safety, but if you have to suffer some physical pain, then I can only ask little friends what to endure it. Of course, I will compensate you afterwards. Yi Zichen frowned, but still nodded with a smile. All right, then I'll come with you. Yi Zichen and company sat in a carriage. As expected, Zwamo was captured and sat in the carriage unwillingly. Zwahonda tried to speak to her several times, but she ignored him every single time. It must be said that Zwahonda really put in a lot of effort this time. There were several 100 million Celeste worth of spiritual items and spiritual artifacts behind their carriage, all of which were used to apologize. Zwamo, I don't care how much you hate me, but you better control your temper when we get to the Mu family, Zwahonda said. Zwamo looked up with reddened eyes. Why? Why are you so afraid of the Mu family? You clearly looked down on the Mu family before, and you said that the Mu family has no successor. But it has only been a few days. Why are you so afraid of the Mu family? But it's only been a few days. How did you become like this? Of course, I have my reasons. Zwahonda frowned deeply. Do you think I want to bow my head to old Monster Mu? But I've said that times have changed. For the sake of the Zwa family, I have to do this. But you have to tell me why. Zwahonda sighed. Zwamo's voice was laced with sobs. Then I'll tell you the truth. Mu Qingtian was chosen. Just yesterday, the Six Realms Patroller came to the Mu clan to recruit geniuses, and Mu Qingtian was chosen. Xiaomo, you should know what this means. I really can't do anything. Zwamo's body shook. Although she was unwilling, she could only remain silent. She knew very well what the person chosen by the Six Realms Patroller represented. The supreme glory. A supreme position. At the same time, Yi Zichen's pupils constricted. 6 Worlds. Chapter 631. Melodramatic drama in comparison, Yi Zichen was even more excited. The Six Realms Patroller had a special meaning to him. Lu Jing. Of course, it was to be taken away by the Six Realms Patroller. Little friend Yi, have you heard of the Six Realms Patroller? Honda raised his eyebrows and said, then you should be able to understand my difficulties. Please, creak. The sound of a fist clenching could be heard from within the carriage. Everyone looked towards Yi Zichen, only to see him smile warmly. Junior understands. 2 hours later, Honda and the others were arranged to stay in a courtyard by the Mu family steward. Chief Zwa, Our patriarch is discussing important matters with that lord. Please rest here for a while. When our patriarch comes out, I will report to him." The butler chuckled. So Honda smiled faintly. "No problem. Brother Moo's discussion with that lord is more important. So we'll wait here. If you need anything, just let me know. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first." The butler smiled faintly and walked out of the courtyard. Only then did Mo snort with a cold expression. Didn't they just catch the eye of the Six Realms patroller? They're actually making us wait. Isn't that reasonable? Zwahonda sat in front of the stone table and said, "We're indeed not on the same level as that lord. Never mind. We're here to apologize anyway. There's no harm in waiting." Humph. Mo wrinkled her nose, but didn't say anything else. Yi Zichen, on the other hand, hadn't said a word since arriving at the Mu family estate. When Mo noticed this, she walked over and patted him on the shoulder. "Hey, why are you so depressed?" "It's nothing." Yi Zichen looked up and pursed his lips with a smile. Mo couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. "You can't be scared, right? If old Mu Freak really wants to make a move on you, then I definitely won't ignore it." Mo's smile was as bright as fireworks. At that moment, a group of people walked into the courtyard. "Old Zwa, this is the good daughter you raised. Is old monster Mu something a junior, like her can call him?" Mu Chung was a short and ugly man. His hair was burnt yellow, and his body was short, but his hands and feet were unusually large. According to Yi Zichen's words, he looked like an alien. "Uncle Mu." Mo stuck out her tongue. Honda smiled faintly and said, "Indeed, my daughter spoke without thinking. I will definitely punish her when we return. But I hadn't expected that Brother Mu would hang out with my second brother." "Big brother, what are you saying? You're friends with Brother Mu, but I'm just messing around with him?" Zhuohongshin pursed his lips and smiled, then looked towards, "Oh, aren't you going to talk to second uncle? What should I say? Should I thank second uncle for not killing me?" Zhuohongshin laughed. "It's a pity that I wasn't able to get rid of you on Mount Biluo." Hong Exen, Honda frowned. Mu Chang took a step forward with his hands behind his back. "You can go back and deal with the Zhua family's internal affairs. This is the Mu family. I don't have the patience to listen to you." "Brother Mu, I'm sorry." Zhuohongshin cupped his hands with a smile. "Zhuohonda, you came to the Mu family this time." Mu Chang raised his eyebrows. Zhuohonda spoke up. "I came to ask for Brother Mu's forgiveness." With that, he turned around and looked towards Yi Zichen. "Hurry up and apologize to family head Mu." Yi Zichen, who had been sitting silently on the stone chair, walked over. Mu Chung raised his eyebrows and smiled. "Brother Zhua, this young man was the one who attacked your manor Zhenggan. I came with him to ask for forgiveness. However, I hope that Brother Mu can spare his life based on the relationship between our families." "What is the relationship between our two families? What is the relationship between us?" Mu Chung shook his head and said mockingly, "My son personally came with a betrothal gift, but you guys kicked him out. I wonder if your manor considered the relationship between our families?" Zhuohonda paused. At that moment, Mu Ching also turned around and shouted, "Lil Tian." Not long later, the sickly Mu Ching Tian walked out with the help of someone. The person who was supporting him was Zhua Hongshin's daughter, the Treasure Tower's second young lady, Zhua Qingsheng. "Uncle, big sister," Zhua Qingsheng smiled warmly. Zhua Qingsheng smiled gently. Zhuohonda's expression sank when he saw this. He said, "Brother Mu, what do you mean by this? Your daughter doesn't like my son, but the Mu family isn't that kind of shameless people. It's not just your daughter who's a good match. Qingsheng is also a young lady of the Treasure Tower, and I'm very satisfied with her as well. Since you're here, I'll tell you one-sidedly. Let's forget about my son and Zhuomo's engagement. The Mu family is going to marry Qingsheng." Zhua Qingsheng maintained a faint smile as Mu Chung spoke and nodded towards everyone else. Yi Zichen, who had remained silent, couldn't help but want to laugh out loud. What kind of F***king melodramatic plot is this? Is this a morality drama? Heh. Zhuohonda suddenly laughed. He nodded towards Zhuohongshin and Mu Chung with a dark expression. "I really didn't expect this." Soon after, He placed his hands behind his back and swept his sharp gaze across the faces of the people around him. Let's go. It's fine if Brother Honda leaves, but this brat has to stay, right? Mu Chung pointed at Yi Zichen with a smile. No matter what, he's the culprit who hurt the Mu family's reputation. In your dreams, before Zhou Honda could speak, Zhou Mo glared at Mu Chung like an angry lion cub. Old Mu monster, don't get too cocky. Isn't it just your sickly son that caught the attention of the Six Realms Patroller? What else are you? You've always been stepped on by the Zhou family and forced to bow and scrape. Even if you have hope of reaching the top now, aren't you being too anxious? Is this a place for you to speak? Mu Cheng's expression darkened, then threw a hidden weapon towards Zhou Mo. No one had expected that Mu Cheng would actually disregard his status and attack a junior. By the time Zhou Honda reacted, it was already too late. Zhou Mo was also stunned. She watched as the hidden weapon flew towards her, but she couldn't dodge it at all. At that moment, Yi Zichen grabbed her arm and turned around. Ding! The hidden weapon landed on the ground. Yi Zichen, who was wearing the swirling flash armor, turned around with squinted eyes and bit his lips. Two long swords appeared in his hands, which shone with a blood-red light. At the same time, 6 wings appeared on his back, which continuously flapped and stirred up violent winds. Chapter 632. Zhan Yuming Dual Swords. Yi Zichen didn't know why it wasn't Blood Scythe, but these two. But no matter what it was, he felt like he was rather cool. Yi Zichen flapped his wings and soared into the sky, then looked down at the people below. Didn't the Mu family want to fight for face? I'm giving you a chance now. Come. Don't you dare act recklessly in the Mu family. At that moment, someone suddenly shouted. Not long later, an elder with an aquiline nose appeared in front of Yi Zichen. Mid-stage Sky Immortal. Bang, bang, bang. Yi Zichen kicked the old man onto the ground in just a few breaths of time. I have to say, the Sky Immortal experts from the outer regions of the Immortal region are a bit ridiculous. With this sort of strength in the Heavenly Court, even a complete stage, human immortal heavenly soldier might be able to beat them up. Who else? Let me fight you. Bang, bang, bang. In less than a minute, the person who came up to fight was kicked down by Yi Zichen once again. Who else? No matter who the Mu family sent out, as long as they came up to fight, Yi Zichen would easily defeat them regardless of their strength. To be honest, even Yi Zichen didn't know what had gotten into him. He didn't seem to be so strong before, but ever since he learned the spiritual technique the White Robe Man taught him and broke through to the Sky Immortal level, he was truly super strong. He could fight anyone he met, and no one could match him. After a long time, no one from a Mu family came out to fight. Yi Zichen stood proudly in the air and looked down coldly at the crowd, then curled his lips and hooked his finger at Mu Qingtian, a seedling that the Six Realms Patroller has his eyes on. Come, I do want to see. Even a sickly person was chosen. It seems like the Six Realms Patroller standards have been rather low recently. Don't you know whether my standards are low or not? A piercing golden light flashed in the sky. After the golden light disappeared, a man in a police uniform with an eye patch over his left eye slowly walked towards Yi Zichen. Patrol Inspector, please seek justice for the Mu family. Mu Chung bowed humbly, but the uniformed man ignored him and walked in front of Yi Zichen. Long time no see. Yumu, it's really you. But you really have a bad taste. You're still wearing these clothes after so long. What's wrong? Don't tell me your unit didn't give you new work clothes? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and sneered, while Yumu smiled. But in the blink of an eye, his brows instantly darkened. Devil, you seem to be stronger. Six-winged, I wonder how strong you are now. How dare you talk to me like that? Dong. The moment Yumu glared at him, Yi Zichen immediately activated all of his defensive spiritual techniques, causing the swirling flash armor to also shine. Humph! Yi Zichen grunted. He crossed his swords and slid backward the 100 meters. Yi Zichen, Zhou Mo cried out worriedly from below. He was clearly so powerful just now, but the moment this person appeared, he was actually suppressed to this extent. Was the Six Realms Patroller really that strong? Humph! To dare go against Lord Patrol Inspector, you're courting death. Mu Cheng's expression was filled with disdain. It seems like the Mu family doesn't need to do anything. Lord Patrol Inspector will help us get rid of this scourge. Yeah, no wonder this brat actually has wings on his back. Didn't you hear what Lord Patrol Inspector said? He's a demon. Zhuohongshin raised his eyebrows and laughed coldly. Zhuohongda, look at the people your daughter knows. While the people on the ground discussed, Yumu also stopped his attacks. I didn't expect him to actually block 10% of my attack. But I wonder what happens next. A milky white ball of light appeared in his hand. Yi Zichen's eyes twitched. This was the first time he saw Yumu use a spiritual technique. This spiritual technique is definitely much stronger than barehanded. However, Yi Zichen merely smiled. When he thought back to how powerless he was in the modern realm now, he could already make Yumu use a spiritual technique. You can actually laugh. If I were you, I would have run already. Why would I run? Yumu, you've always been one of my targets to defeat. Yi Zichen revealed an indescribable excitement. An indescribable excitement appeared on Yi Zichen's face. Yumu was stunned, then sneered, "You aren't worthy." Boom! The ball of light in Yi Zichen's hand flew out. His pupils contracted as he brought his swords together. Ugh! Yi Zichen coughed up a mouthful of blood. When the blood landed on the two swords, it caused them to become even more crystalline. His body shook violently for a moment before he steadied himself. Ha ha! Ha ha! Yi Zichen's mouth was covered in blood, but he laughed loudly. Only then did Yumu squint his eyes. He's actually still alive. Die! Yumu stomped down forcefully. Yi Zichen, who had been laughing maniacally, also stopped and snorted at Yumu. You're finally showing your true strength? You finally brought out your true strength. But I'm sorry, I'm not your target. Yi Zichen combined the two swords in his hands into one, causing a new huge sword to appear in his hands. The huge sword was 2 meters long and half a meter wide, while a blood dragon coiled around the blade. Yi Zichen held the huge sword with both hands, causing the veins on his arms to bulge, while lines of veins crawled all over his arms. His pupils also gradually turned pitch black, while the feathers on his wings also became more crystalline. As he flapped his wings, feathers could be seen falling down, but the feathers on his wings did not decrease in the slightest. Demon Die! A small dagger appeared in Yumu's hands. Yi Zichen's expression was solemn as he swung his sword towards Yumu. Dong! A violent fluctuation of spiritual energy spread out in all directions, causing the surrounding space to crack as it was unable to withstand the tearing of the spiritual energy. Don't think that you're still so high and mighty. The people behind you are constantly working hard to catch up to you. Yi Zichen roared. The huge sword in his hand snapped Yumu's dagger in half, while he flung Yumu 10-odd meters away. Come, I was actually beaten back. Yumu stared blankly at Yi Zichen, who challenged him, while his heart was filled with shock. As the Six Realms Patroller, I was actually repelled by a level 1 mortal. That's impossible. Boom! An extremely berserk aura was released from Yumu's body, while a huge crack gradually appeared above his head, which continuously poured black spiritual energy into him. When Yi Zichen looked over, the entire sky turned black because of him. Seeing that, the bloody light around Yi Zichen's body also brightened, while strands of black energy could be seen within the bloody light. Approximately 7 minutes later, Yumu cut off his connection with the black energy. He was wearing a black crystal armor, and his long blue hair reached his waist. The blindfold that had been covering his eyes was gone, and in its place was a pair of sapphire-like eyes.